you. This Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, join us for our UFC 292 alternative commentary and dive deeper with Dave Simon, AJ DeLisio, and Fred Garcia. Step into a fresh dimension of UFC 292 through our exclusive alternative commentary. Watch along while you watch the event in your homes. Navigate every punch, kick, and takedown with the expertise of acclaimed commentator Dave Simon. Couple that with the analytical prowess of MMA connoisseurs AJ DeLisio and Fred Garcia, and you've got a UFC viewing experience unlike any other. Dave Simon's play-by-play intertwines seamlessly with in-depth insights, keeping you on the edge of your seat. AJ and Fred break down the techniques, strategies, and split-second decisions, enhancing your appreciation for the sport. Catch rare tidbits, backstage gossip, and historical context that mainstream broadcasts might miss. We're all about community. Drop your thoughts, questions, and fight predictions as the action unfolds. Whether you're a seasoned MMA enthusiast or just diving into the UFC world, our trio promises to elevate your viewing experience to championship levels. Join our MMA Legion. Subscribe now for more alternative commentaries, in-depth analyses, and a passionate community that lives and breathes MMA. Loved our insights? Hit the thumbs up and engage with us in the comments. Dive deeper into UFC with us, where every fight feels personal. Subscribe and be part of the action. Check back with us to see how tonight's predictions came out. See you on Saturday, starting at 10 p.m. Introducing the exclusive WWE Survivor Series 1997 t-shirt, spotlighting the event that forever changed pro wrestling, the legendary Montreal Screwjob. This isn't just a shirt, it's a badge of wrestling lore. It's a limited release. So act now. Snag your piece of history now before the final bell rings. Find it and our growing selection of merch, swag, and collectibles at our website, merch.ringsidereport.net. Here's a message about upcoming programming while we get tonight's show ready for you. Dive deep into the heart of the UFC with our Ringside Report MMA previews. Join seasoned analysts Dave Simon, AJ DeLisio, and Fred Garcia as they dissect every fight, analyze strategies, and reveal their top betting predictions. From main events to prelims, our trio deep dives into the strengths, weaknesses, and potential game changers for each fighter. Looking to place a bet? Benefit from the expertise of our analysts and get an edge over the competition. Discover lesser-known facts, training camp secrets, and behind-the-scenes tidbits that only our seasoned crew can deliver. Share your fight predictions and get featured in this episode. For both new fans and longtime MMA aficionados, Ringside Report MMA's previews are the key to unlocking a richer UFC viewing experience. Become an MMA insider. Don't miss out on our exclusive content. Subscribe now and ensure you ring that bell for timely notifications. Enjoyed our breakdown? Show some love with a thumbs up and share your insights in the comments section. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern and join our UFC watch-alongs as they happen to further enhance your experience. Why watch alone when you can be part of a growing Ringside Report universe? Mark your calendars for August 27th. Dive deep into the thrill of AEW's All-In Pro Wrestling event. Join us on the Wrestling Uncensored post-show, where legends dissect legends. Get unparalleled insights with our expert panel. Seasoned aficionados Dave and Ben Simon, plus the master of the mat, Johnny Genesis North. Become a part of the action. Engage with our interactive afternoon broadcast. Whether it's the live chat, heart-pounding comments, or electrifying live calls, your voice matters. Dive into every slam, every cheer, every pulse-racing moment. For the fans by the fans. Don't just witness, immerse.
Yes, indeed. Edge with a classic in Toronto. Cash Wheeler arrested And CM Punk is running wild. It's Wrestling Uncensored time. Let's do it. Indeed. Welcome to the show. We are here. It's Friday night. We're doing the thing. We're talking the wrestling. We're having a good time. Johnny, how are you?
Not bad. I felt like I was going to puke out my Powerade when I heard the AI Glenn McKenzie talking. That was pretty funny stuff.
Oh. Okay, you were going to do a spit take. I thought you were disgusted by something, but you were
I think
it was funny.
Almost through my nose. It was almost through my nose, actually. It's quite hilarious. It did sound like D'Alessio, the way he says it.
I still have yet to hear it because I do other things when we have the countdown, so I'm not. There's a lot going on the Ringside Report show, on the Ringside Report universe that I'm not always aware of, you know? There are things happening on the show, things happening behind the scenes. I don't always know what's going on. People think it's just me. It's really not. There's a whole team working on the Ringside Report network. It's not just me and Johnny, you know? People think it's just me and Johnny. They forget about AJ and other people, sure. Like Fred? I'm guessing.
Fred was there, yeah.
He's a guy. I know him.
There's
I know
other
him very well. We're going to talk about wrestling here tonight. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about. Shout out to everybody watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, Rumble. Did I forget one? I think that's all.
I think Stitcher still exists for now.
Yeah, well, we're on podcasts everywhere. The podcast is available everywhere. Thank you for listening, watching, wherever, however you do it. Here to the Ringside Report Network, to Wrestling Uncensored, the weekly pro wrestling show here. I see Jimmy James, Alex Tarras, CSL Lorne, DJ Dark, Franco316, all checking in on YouTube already. Shout out to you guys and everybody else checking out the show tonight. We got a big one. There's a lot going on. Edge had what felt like a retirement match tonight in Toronto with Sheamus. I wonder how Johnny felt not only about the match, but also about Edge's future in the WWE or in professional wrestling. I know there's been a lot of talk about a potential move to AEW to join his buddy Christian, who will be having a big match tomorrow night against Darby Allin on Collision, which is pretty cool, but of course, Collision nearly impossible to watch here in Canada, so we'll see about that. A lot of news in the AEW world. They've got All-In coming up next weekend, next Sunday. A week from this Sunday, the 27th, will be All-In. That's a gigantic show for them. Over 80,000 tickets sold at Wembley Stadium in London, England. And they have a big match, FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championship, that a lot of people feel is in jeopardy right now because Cash Wheeler was arrested for, what is the charge exactly?
Aggravated assault with a firearm, I think.
Sure, yeah. Aggravated assault with a firearm. We'll talk about what happened, what the story is, and whether or not FTR will still defend the AEW Tag Team titles at All-In. Will they be allowed in the country? And CM Punk, which feels kind of like old news at this point, but CM Punk has been making news all week, causing controversy as he does. Talked about Hangman Page. We'll play the audio from after Collision. That happened last Saturday for you. CM Punk had many words about Hangman Page. He seems to not have the ability to keep Hangman's name out of his mouth. It's funny.
Do you have the whole audio thing? Because there's a reason why he said that.
Yeah, I have the whole thing. We'll play it a little later, and we can explain the context and everything. John, don't worry. The context will be explained. But first, you saw a little bit last night. We're doing some trivia. We're doing some games. We're having fun on the Ringside Report Network. We're doing different things. We got some different things planned for tomorrow night's UFC 292 watch-along, which is tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, UFC 292, big UFC pay-per-view. We're going to watch the pay-per-view with you, myself, Freddie, and AJ, having a party watching the fights tomorrow, and we've got some new things available for you tomorrow on the show. I got some surprises planned, and a little surprise here for you tonight. We're going to get this started, just me versus Johnny. Eventually, the plan is to get you guys involved in some of these trivia contests. I think it'll be, can you beat Johnny? Because I think Johnny is going to be the all-time champ at this. Johnny is the king of wrestling knowledge. I don't know anybody who knows more about pro wrestling than Johnny North. And that is saying something, because I know a lot about pro wrestling myself, and I know a lot of people that know a lot about pro wrestling, but I don't know anybody who's got the recall that Johnny North does. What were you saying?
Yeah, I'm not perfect. Like, that's it. I've probably forgotten more about wrestling now at this point, so.
Yeah, but you've forgotten more than people will ever know. So your knowledge base is deep, my friend. I'm always amazed by the dates and the recall and everything that you can do. You got a good memory for pro wrestling.
At certain things, yeah, for sure. Just want to give credit to Ray Phoenix, Commander. That was a pretty good match we just saw to open up Rampage. Very good back and forth match. I mean, if you like Lucha Libre kind of wrestling, this is as good as it gets right there.
Is he hurt?
Possibly.
He looked hurt, Commander. Ray Phoenix was like, come check on him.
Yeah.
I didn't really see the match.
Show, so.
Hope he's all right. All right, let's do it. Trivia me. Hit me up. Dave versus Johnny tonight. Oh, wait, I think I have to press a button. Press the button. Here we go. All right, John.
AI here? What's going on here?
Oh, that's a guy. That's a model we have. We have shirts available. Go check out our shirts. Go check out our merch. Look at that model. What a handsome guy. I don't know him, but he's fantastic. What a guy. Give me question one. Johnny, are you taking question one? I'll give it to you because you're John. You're the man. You take number one. I think we're going to have to identify. We're going to get a picture, and you're going to have to say what pay-per-view it's from. I think I'm going to suck at this, so we'll see.
Okay. What's the picture?
I don't know. Give me one.
Okay.
Give me one.
Oh, that's Hell in a Cell. It's King of the Ring, 98.
Yep.
That's easy.
Oh, that's pretty easy for Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny gets it.
I think everyone got that one.
I don't think I would have got it. I'm telling you, I'm really bad at this. I don't know if I would have got the year. I don't even know if I knew it was really? King of the Ring. I might have just said, Hell in a Cell.
Is that the criteria here? We have to get the pay-per-view and the year as well?
I think so.
Okay, wow. That's a bit harder then.
It's going to be tough. All right, give me one.
Oh, this is easy.
Well, it's WrestleMania. It's
right.
Shawn and Kurt from WrestleMania. I'm going to say 22.
You were close, though. It was very close.
I'm terrible at this. I'm telling you, I'm going to be the worst. John is going to destroy me. What is it? What's the right answer? Well, John, do you know it? You tell me.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 21. So, I mean, you were super close. Yeah, I mean, you said 22. Like, you were off by 1 year. Like, I know, that's still pretty good.
That's not bad. All right.
Yeah.
John's winning 1-0, or maybe 2-0. I don't know. Give me another one. This one's for John. Oh, that's easy. I know that one.
18. Like, come on.
Come on. Too easy. Nice. Too easy. I knew that one. That's not fair.
I get all the easy ones here. This is great. This is easy for me.
Dang it. Oh, Johnny, you're the best. All right. Give me one now. Johnny's killing me.
That's not too bad.
That's WrestleMania 30. Yeah! WrestleMania! That's Brian's Mania. I remember that one. I've seen that one a couple times because it's good.
That was the opening. Was that?
Yeah, which is amazing. Like, that opening was probably the best opening to any WrestleMania you could possibly get. The three biggest stars in the history of the business. You put Cena in there, and it's Mount Rushmore of the WWE, brother. That is, those are the kings. Those are the three kings.
30.
Yeah.
It's kind of appropriate that we had that moment.
I just
30.
love looking at those three guys. God, that is a picture in the ring right there. Legends.
Are we done?
No, I think
Is
there's
it, or
I think there's one more. Oh, I know this one too.
SummerSlam '94?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the photo tries to make it tricky, but I mean, if you know Brett and Owen, you
Yeah.
know that.
If you know Brett and Owen, you know they only had one cage match. SummerSlam
That
94.
we saw. Maybe they had some on house shows.
All right.
That was fun.
That was fun.
I like
We're
the
gonna
easy.
do-
I like the easy ones I get.
Yeah.
You get the hard
John,
ones.
you beat me pretty good. I think it was like 3-1. I got one. I'm happy I got one, and I wasn't so far off on Sean and Kurt.
Yeah, you were very close, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Not so bad. All right. Well, thank you to the team for hooking that up for us. That was fun. We'll do more in the future, and we'll include you guys. And eventually, I think we're going to have prizes. We're working on it.
Well, keep fitting me easy ones. Like, it makes me look good. It's all right.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you make yourself look good, brother. You're doing well. You're doing well. When's your next match? Did you have one last weekend?
No,
No, right?
It's tomorrow, actually.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
It's not almost like when you guys are going to be doing the UFC watch along. Actually, yeah, it'll be in St.
Oh.
Therese. Actually, yeah.
St. Therese.
Team
tomorrow.
Masonic. Yeah. Trying to win those NCW tag team titles.
Ooh, you and So I'm in.
Yeah. That's right.
Hell yeah. That's a hell of a tag team. If you're anywhere near St. Therese tomorrow, go to that match, NCW. Go watch John. John is going to win those tag titles. I really hope you win.
It's going to be a lot of violence. Promise that.
Yeah, I know that. When he says that,
Yeah.
like he's not kidding. It's not like promo. There's nothing fake about that. You know what I'm saying? Like when Johnny North tells you there's going to be a lot of violence for his match, that's just a warning to the opponents. And not in like a, oh, there's going to be a lot of violence. It's a like, hey, I hit hard and you just deal with it. Because Johnny North is like a Sheamus-style wrestler. You know? You're a hard hitter. Drew Onyx is like that too. You guys, you know, you big guys hit hard. Tremendous. I like
Especially
your
when he's
style.
Soa, too.
Yeah, sorry, so
Soa is more aggressive, yeah.
more aggressive. Does he?
Yeah.
He doesn't do fork gimmicks, does he?
I mean, it'll depend. I think it's more kids-oriented kind of show,
Okay.
so probably no forks, but, I mean, it could happen.
Yeah. Because So I'm in is like affiliated. Is it affiliated with the Butcher?
So
or-
I'm in SOA, that's Son of Abdullah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew there was some lineage with Abdullah in the gimmick, right? It's like an Abdullah. All right. Son of Abdullah. That's why I asked about the fork, you know?
There's a fork sometimes. There has been a fork. I don't know if there'll be a fork tomorrow, though.
Okay.
But there'll definitely be violence. That will happen.
Yeah, I know there'll be violence. I love it. Shout out to Matthew Henley. I know he checks out a lot of Johnny's matches. Alex Tarras, Ryan Katz. Go watch Johnny wrestle tomorrow. Alex wants me to be your manager. I mean,
You're a little busy at the same time.
yeah. And it's not.
I watched Law Sport.
I'm not booked. It's not really like how that works,
A
right?
walk-in. Yeah. You can't really walk in like that.
Yeah. It's like if we were a package deal, I think it might work if we got booked together, but like I'd have to get booked. Like people don't really understand. Like Dave, just be John's manager. Well, the promoter has to kind of do that. It's not really John
Right.
that has that decision. It's like a promoter has to be like, "Oh, this guy." And I'm not really a wrestling manager. You know? Like it's
And I
not
wasn't.
it's not something that I do. It's something I could probably do, but it's, you know, I've never done it before, so I don't know.
You have ring announced before, though.
Yeah. And I've been around wrestling a long time, and I kind of get it. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yep.
able to get physical if I need to. I'm in decent shape. I could do things. Manager style,
try
not
to-
like wrestler style. I'm not trying to take,
Yeah.
you know. But I'm saying if it
Don't
came
kill
down to
yourself.
taking a bump or two, I could probably figure out how to do it, you know? capable. I know how to do a break fall, which is basically the same thing.
Right, but you don't need to kill yourself.
No, I'd
Make sure
rather
they pay
not.
you for it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not taking bumps unless there's a good payday in it for me. And yeah, nobody's asking me to do it. Franco wants me to lay some jiu-jitsu. I don't think that would be I don't think people would be happy about that. You don't want the manager beating up the wrestlers. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good look. It's not a good look. Like if Paul Heyman started beating up Roman Reigns' opponents, you'd be like, what's going on here? It's like,
I know
Paul Heyman's a black belt. It's like, oh, no, he isn't.
What happened with Conor and Khabib, like when that happened, like that got a great reaction, but obviously that should never happen.
Yeah.
When the other group attacks the other fighters, like that should never happen.
That's not a bad idea, though, having a manager who is kind of dangerous at the same time. Having a dangerous manager who's not a wrestler but is like a black belt martial artist or something, is like known as a dangerous man, and he's just like in your corner. Like if you had GSP in your corner where he's not wrestling but your opponents are in fear of him. You don't have managers like that a lot these days that are intimidating. Every manager, it's like, well, you could beat that guy up. And that's historically how managers work, but like the bodyguard manager, like a Diesel or a China. You don't see that too much these days. It's not a bad move to have like a bodyguard manager. Like Rhea Ripley is kind of for Dominic.
Yeah.
In a way.
Except they have this no touch rule, so it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't really work exactly, but yeah. Oh, Leor says he just started watching How To with John Wilson. Tremendous show. Thanks, Dave. Man, John Wilson really needs to hook me up with something. I'm getting all these people watching his show. I think Doug was watching it. Doug Hepburn. I saw Ray Cruz watching it. Now we got Leor watching it. Tremendous show. I'm going to try to get AJ watching it. Are you going to watch it, John?
Pretty busy. I'll let you know when I finish all the things I watch right now.
All right. I think there's a new episode coming out tonight that we'll probably watch tomorrow. What did I see about Pretty Deadly?
Well, last week you saw Pretty Deadly. One guy was in a wheelchair.
Yeah. I saw somebody in our chat say, I don't know where that came from. Pretty Deadly apparently are going to be managed by Jimmy Hart at some point. I don't believe that.
No, I think someone made mention they'd like to see that kind of thing, and maybe Jimmy Hart mentioned he'd like to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's any plans for that.
No.
That'd be cool, but I don't know if Jimmy Hart's going to be on the road all the time like that, too.
Yeah,
at this point.
I can't imagine. I like those guys, though. They're kind of funny. They've been gone for a while, right? One of them's hurt?
Well, one
is that
separated his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken, one of the guys, right? Wasn't that the thing?
Is that what happened? I don't know. I can't remember. I can't keep track of these guys. Kevin Owens is currently hurt. Is he going to be at the house show this weekend? WWE's coming to Montreal this weekend. They'll be in Montreal Sunday for a house show. Well, Laval, technically. Yeah. But, you know, they're calling it Montreal. It's close enough. It's still on the Metro system, so it's...
Sure. Just. Yeah.
Yeah. But you can get there by Metro. So...
It's true.
I'll give it to you. I wonder if Kevin Owens is going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'll be at the house show this Sunday. Are you going? You're not going?
I could go, but I don't think I'll go.
Not worth it for Johnny.
We'll see the comp tickets are nice, but I mean, what's the card?
I think
Do you even know the card?
Cody, I mean, I only know what they say on the TV. The Scott Stanford.
What did he say?
Scott Stanford.
I didn't see what he said. I think it is still Scott Stanford.
It's supposed to be Cody versus.
Don't say Finn.
Damian Priest.
Oh, not much of an improvement right there.
And Seth and Finn.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if that's actually what they're gonna do. That's just what they announced. Like they could always change it up, but that's probably what they're gonna do. It sounds about right.
So basically, just watch a repeat episode of Raw. Is that what the house show pretty much is going to be?
Yep. Sounds like it.
Yeah,
But
no
maybe
thanks.
some other people involved, you know? Maybe LA Knight will be there. Maybe Gunther. Gunther's on Raw. I could see Gunther being there wrestling somebody, which is cool. I like Gunther. Haven't seen Cody wrestle in a while in person, so that's not bad. Why not? I'm taking my son, so he's more excited
Well,
than
for
I am.
him, yeah, it's nice for him to get experiences like that. That's awesome, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Very jaded right now, especially Raw this week. Whoa, trash.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
SmackDown was okay.
SmackDown was pretty good. The finish of SmackDown was fantastic. Let's get into SmackDown. Edge beat Sheamus. The spear was the finish. He hits one spear. Sheamus kicked out. Hits another one. 1, 2, 3. Gets the win over Sheamus. Beth Phoenix, Edge's wife, and his 2 daughters were in the front row. In his hometown of Toronto, the fans were loving Edge, gave him a very long, very loud standing ovation when he came out. Edge took a lot in this match. That Razor's Edge was devastating. Devastating. I mean, the crunch on his head. Oh, good God, what a bump. Seeing a guy like that who had to retire because of neck injury take a bump like that is always, like, cringy to watch for me. I don't know about you, but it was like, oh, God. Really good match. Really emotional stuff. Beth Phoenix was crying. Edge was emotional in the ring. Hugged Sheamus afterwards. Pyro. Big celebration. All night they were celebrating 25 years of Edge. We had promos from John Cena, AJ Styles, Becky Lynch, Miz, all sorts of different people. Charlotte Flair, Sami Zayn, everybody talking about Edge, paying tribute to Edge throughout the night. 25 years of Edge in his hometown. He main events, beats Sheamus clean, middle of the ring, with his wife and 2 daughters watching in the front row. Pretty good night for a pretty great wrestler. I can't argue with that. That to me is the beauty of pro wrestling. That's the magic. That's the art of pro wrestling. Makes you feel something, gives you an emotion. You see the emotion in the performers. And it's a nice tribute night to a guy that deserves it. You heard guys like Undertaker and Hogan talk about Edge with reverence. Talked about how much he gave to the business, how much he gave of his body to professional wrestling, and you see those highlights throughout the years, and you go, you know, you remember all those matches, and you think, wow, you know, Edge has really been through the ringer. That's what I was thinking. I was seeing all those bumps. I was like, God damn, no wonder he had to retire. It was funny the way they placed it, you know, because it was like bump, 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 bump. I have to retire. And it's like, yeah, I know. I saw all those things that you just did to yourself. No shit. How did you not have to retire six highlights ago? Like, incredible. He gave so much of his body and his life to pro wrestling and to the WWE specifically. And I think a guy like that deserves what he got tonight. When those fans chant, you deserve it, like, he deserved that. Edge deserved that. Edge earned that. Adam Copeland earned that. And I was really happy to see that. I thought that was a beautiful tribute to Edge all night long, and to allow him to go out and have that match, and to see that he could still have that type of match with Sheamus. Match of the night. Best thing they did on the show. And one of the best things they've done in a while to finish off SmackDown, as far as I'm concerned. Like, all the Bloodline stuff is cool and all, but, you know, wasn't a tearjerker like that. That was fantastic. But I think, you know, I'm also a little bit biased because Edge is a guy that we grew up with. And to see him at this stage of his career, it's a beautiful thing. You got to love Edge and the years that he's been in WWE. 25 years. We were little kids when Edge started in WWE, you know? So pretty nice and pretty amazing, again, that he can still go to the level that he can, considering he had to retire because his neck was done. And now he's in there kicking ass with Sheamus. Amazing. I loved it. John, what are you going to nitpick? What did you not like? I know there's something you didn't like about this.
Well, there's things I liked, things I didn't like, but overall I liked it. I thought Edge and Sheamus had a very good match. I found Beth Phoenix really helped the match a lot because that's what really added to the emotion was her reacting to the match. If she doesn't react to it that much, I don't think you feel it as much. Because you said the crowd gave Edge a good ovation to start. I thought it was all right. For Toronto, I was kind of disappointed. I thought after the match, the ovation was very good. But to start the match, I thought it was just kind of basic. I thought that would last kind of a lot longer than it did. It felt like they went right away to the match, and you could have milked that a bit more, and they didn't, because it really wasn't there that much. They were into it, but I thought it was very basic what they were into. You still got it over and over again, it felt like they said. They really didn't have anything else in terms of chance. And this was the problem of having face versus face. You don't have anything to really hate on with Sheamus. There was mild boos against him, but for the most part, people are still somewhat cheering Sheamus, and they still like what he does. So that took away a little bit of what you could have had from this match, because no one really truly hated Sheamus. Just like, oh, they like Edge more. That's it. Like if you had Grayson Waller, but you already did that,
yeah,
that would have worked more because he's got a lot of heat.
Yeah. But they wanted to do Sheamus for, the reasons that they put out there last week, and I think Edge and Sheamus really do have that relationship. And I don't think it hurts Sheamus to lose this match to Edge. I think it makes him a bigger babyface and a more clear-cut babyface going forward. And
yeah,
I don't think you get the match that you got tonight from Grayson Waller. Like, Sheamus is Sheamus. Grayson Waller is like, come on. Sheamus is a top-level main event player.
Yeah, the wrestling quality won't be as good, but I think you get more heat in the sense that people can't stand a guy like Grayson Waller, or if it was even Miz. Like, just having them around, they can't stand it whatsoever.
But again...
And they would cheat.
Yeah, but I want a good match. I wanted Edge to have a good match. This might have been his last match in Toronto ever. Maybe his last match for WWE. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for Edge, but it seems like his contract is running up, and he could be a free agent. He could be retiring. I think he's going to go to AEW to join Christian for one little run, a final run with Christian, and then retire. If he still can, you figure he might want to. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's been there, done that. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Maybe he wants to re-sign with WWE or be a coach or whatever, or quit wrestling altogether. I don't know what Edge wants to do. I can't pretend to be in Edge's head. Just as a fan, I feel like there's a lot that Edge could do in AEW. Like, wrestle Sting. Like, he's never wrestled Sting. How about that?
He's not going to wrestle Sting. That's not going to happen.
Why not?
Okay, Sting wrestles tag matches, so it's got to be
in a tag match. Him and Christian against Sting and Darby. So, that's pretty sweet.
Edge is going to be a face. He's not going to be heel if he goes to AEW. And, I'm sorry, if he wins his last match in WWE, just go to AEW, I feel like that's not it for him here. It doesn't feel like that's your last match. Usually, you lose your last match, not you win your last match. And he's done this twice now where he wins his last match.
Yeah.
So it's weird that he would just leave, but stranger things have happened. I'm just surprised WWE would do that, though.
Apparently his contract is running out in a couple of weeks, or a week or something. This could have been it.
It could have been, yeah.
I think he's telling them that he's thinking about retiring, but everybody's like, yeah. Are you, though? People are guessing that he's going to wind up in AEW at some point. You've seen that, right?
I've seen it. Especially with him winning, I just find it hard to believe that they haven't worked something out, that he'd have another thing in WWE. Yeah, this was a great moment, maybe last match in Toronto, but I feel you can still do more with Edge.
They haven't done much with him in the past couple of years.
He only comes for big events and big shows and all that. Like, it's pretty much Rumble, WrestleMania. He's pretty much a guy like that. But we saw in Montreal, like, you could still make something out of him. He was at one of the best matches at Elimination Chamber this year. See, I talk about the reactions. I thought Montreal gave him better reaction than Toronto gave him, except for when they won the match.
I don't know. I wasn't in the building for Toronto. I was in the building for Montreal. It's hard to gauge.
It's hard to gauge, but I don't know. Montreal, that was electric, I thought. Like, his entrance when he came out with Beth, that was amazing. That was one of the best ones.
Montreal is loud, you know?
Yeah.
Montreal is a loud
You were
crowd
there.
all the time. But I just think that there's a lot for Edge to do in AEW and not much left for him to do in WWE, and it doesn't seem like they have that much for him to do. So, you know, I would rather see him move on, go to AEW, team up with Christian, wrestle the Hardys, wrestle Sting and Darby, wrestle Christian, do stuff there, wrestle Jericho, just do a couple of things, maybe wrestle Punk, wrestle MJF, him and Christian against the Young Bucks, Edge and Christian versus the Young Bucks, Edge and Christian versus FTR. I mean, there are matches that you could do that seem more interesting in AEW, quite frankly, for Edge than anything you can do in WWE. And it seems like WWE has been unwilling to pull the trigger on anything meaningful with Edge. And I'm sorry for using pull the trigger on the day where Cash got arrested, but we'll talk about him in a bit. But I just feel like WWE, they're not doing anything with Edge. He's sitting on the bench. They bring him here and there, and it's like, there's more stuff for him to do in AEW. And he could be at the big shows, and he could, have a match every once in a while, wrestle a Sting schedule. Even Sting, like, he wrestles pretty often. If we could see Edge as much as we see Sting in AEW, I think AEW would be way better off. And Edge, could actually get a run where he's wrestling and in the mix. He seems like a sideshow in WWE. He's an attraction, but really, he's an attraction they barely use. He wasn't booked at SummerSlam.
No, you're right.
He wasn't booked at SummerSlam. That should tell you everything you need to know about what WWE thinks of Edge at this point in the game. He's not Brock Lesnar. He's not used at all the big events. He's just a guy they have on the bench. He doesn't have that many more years left for his body to hold up and stay in pro wrestling. Unless he's going to wrestle till he's 60 like Sting, but, I don't think so. So, I figure, go to AEW. Have some fun. Call the shots. Tell Tony Khan what to do and how much to pay you. It seems like you can do that in AEW, so why not? Be your own boss and wrestle on TV. It's a pro wrestler's dream. Makes sense. Go to AEW, Edge. And I think WWE should give him his name because, it's the right thing to do. Just let him be Edge. I don't want him in AEW with like a gimmick name or Adam Copeland or Sexton Hardcastle or something like that. I don't want that. I mean, Sexton Hardcastle wouldn't be a bad one. Everybody knows that's Edge's. Was that his first indie name or something, right?
Something like that, yeah.
That is a fantastic wrestling name. The fact that that was never used on a permanent basis is seriously disappointing. And if Edge does not come into AEW as Sexton Hardcastle, but instead as Adam Copeland, I will be thoroughly disappointed. He should be at least Edge. And if you can't call him Edge or The Edge, call him Sexton Hardcastle, but not Adam Copeland. Sexton. How did Vince not want that? Maybe he wanted that name for himself. Maybe that's what he calls himself in the bedroom. I'm Sexton Hardcastle. It's my gimmick. I came up with it, pal.
Well, if you remember Edge's gimmick when he first started, Sexton Hardcastle didn't really fit the brooding character that he was, so it makes sense that they didn't use that name.
It's a good name, though. It's a good wrestling name.
When he was the Radar Superstar, sure, but he's already established at that point.
Then he's already Edge. He's the Rated R Superstar. So you don't think he should go to WWE. Kyle Salisbury says Edge return has been a complete waste, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't think they've done that much with him.
Could be. I won't deny that. It could be better, but I still think there's still things that WWE can do. They just need to use him. Like you say, that he's on the bench. Like, take him off the bench and use him. Obviously, you can't use him that much, but at least have something ready for him when he come back. And it seems like they aren't really ready. It's just like, well, we'll throw something together and that's it. Like, he'll do a promo, talk about something, and there's a match right there. Have a story already put in place. It feels like they don't have anything for him, and they should. He's one of the most important superstars they have. They keep talking about it. Do something with him.
Wasn't booked at SummerSlam. And there's no clear path for him at WrestleMania either. As soon as he was done with that Roman Reigns feud at WrestleMania a couple years ago, it was it. They haven't done anything meaningful with him since.
Well, no, he started the Judgment Day.
Yeah, and how did that work out? It was awful, and then he bailed on the group and disappeared.
Well, they took him out.
Yeah, they took him out because it was awful. It was terrible. And he didn't like the way it was going. He was like not happy with the direction. He wanted out, so they took him out. He wanted out. He saw where that was going. He didn't like it. I mean, the Judgment Day is better off now, but it was rocky there for a while. It was a pretty bad group. And in some people's opinions, it still is. Ray Cruz says, hello to all. Totally agree. Edge in AEW would be amazing. Yep. I'd like it. I'd like to see Edge in AEW. Sexton Hardcastle in AEW. FTR and the Young Bucks face-to-face interview is being advertised for Dynamite on Wednesday. What that means? What is that going to be?
We'll find out.
Hope you're packing. Hope you're packing, Matt and Nick. You never know. Hope you guys got guns, because if Cash gets mad at you, he might flash a piece.
It's going to be a pre-tape because, like, let's face it, the Bucks, like, live, they don't really say anything, as we saw last time. So it's going to be a pre-tape.
Well,
if they haven't already taped it.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to get
worried about the match not happening? Because the match is going to happen.
The match is going to happen.
The match is the match is going to happen.
The match is going to happen. Let's just wrap up SmackDown before we get to Cash, because that stuff is crazy. I just saw that flash on my screen because we're watching Rampage.
Right.
And I saw that they're advertising FTR and Young Bucks in a face-to-face interview on Dynamite. And I'm like, wow. What are the Young Bucks going to say? What are they going to say? Yeah, but it's Dynamite, right?
Well, because we did Fight for the Fallen, right, this week, and now it's Fyter Fest. That's what we usually do. Usually in July. Now it's August for whatever reason,
but you know, it's Dynamite. It doesn't really make a difference.
No.
The point is, like, are the Young Bucks going to say something about the arrest?
If it's a pre-tape, if it's live on the mic, like, feels like they have nothing to say usually when it's live.
Uh-huh. Well, they haven't said much so far, but yeah, that was something. That was really something. Okay,
we'll talk about the
everything
Kenny thing too later.
Huh?
Talk about the Kenny thing too, like that pre-tape promo, like that was weird.
With Jim Ross?
We'll talk about that as well. Yeah.
It was weird. There's a lot of weird stuff happening in AEW. It kind of feels like the train is going off the rails at the absolute worst time. Like, it is, AEW is derailing. WCW 2000 level derailing.
Well, again, like Dynamite Collision, it's like totally different shows. Like Collision, it feels like things make sense. There's a story well put in place.
And nobody's watching.
Fantastic main event last week.
Nobody's watching. It's fucking disastrous. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I had such high hopes for AEW. I was all in. No pun intended. When the thing started, I was like, yeah, this is going to be the thing. And then it has pushed WWE to become better, so at least we got that out of it.
We have a tag match here, right? What is this?
Who cares?
Is this a 6-woman match or? Hey, this is Sheeta again, a main event here. They're giving her.
Who's she wrestling?
Granted, it's Rampage. Well, I think it's a tag. I think it's Sky Blue and Sheeta against
Tony Storm and
members
Ruby.
of the Outcast.
Okay.
I guess probably.
Yeah, Tony and Ruby, not Saraya.
Yeah, I guess Saraya doesn't really wrestle that much, so that makes sense.
No. So Edge beat Sheamus tonight in the main event of SmackDown. Main event was great. Let's work our way back. Paul Heyman was interviewed backstage by Kayla. And this interview, if you don't know, you might not think anything of it. But if you know a little bit about Kayla, you might be a little bit surprised at some of the things Paul Heyman said in this promo. And I'll talk to you about that in a moment, John. I don't know if you know, but I'll tell you and I'll show you.
Okay.
So Kayla, the backstage interviewer, who's very good, she is interviewing Paul Heyman and asking him questions about the bloodline and about Jey Uso leaving WWE and Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns and all that stuff. And Heyman says, well, Jey Uso quit on the WWE and he quit on SmackDown, he quit on the universe, he quit on all of us, and why are you asking me about questions about the bloodline? You shouldn't ask me questions about these things. And Kayla's like, well, what about the rumors about... We're hearing a lot of rumors about Roman Reigns and about Jey Uso. And Heyman's like, yeah? Why are you asking questions about Roman Reigns' family? I'm hearing a lot of rumors about your family, Kayla. What about your mother? Have you spoken to your mother lately? What about your father? Have you had any daddy-daughter dates lately, Kayla? And I'm like, whoa. Because I don't know too much about Kayla. But I do know, like a couple of months ago, this was not long ago, right? Or this was a year ago. Okay. This is a year ago, but I remembered it because I was like, wow, that's a shocking thing to admit on Twitter. A year ago, Kayla tweeted this. I'll also add, I am a product of rape. My mother was raped by a stranger. To this day, neither of us have any clue who my birth dad is. She chose to have me, clearly, but she did so because she chose to, not because the law told her she had to. It should always be our choice. Yeah, so Kayla with a pretty solid message there. But, yeah, so when Heyman asked her about her family and her mom and her dad and the rumors about her family, I go,
wow.
Whoa, what? What are we talking about here? And, like, maybe check first before saying that on TV, because that's all I know about Kayla and her family, because she tweeted it and I follow her on Twitter because she tweets things about WWE. And
it's Paul Heyman, though.
You would think Heyman would know.
Oh, I'm sure he does know. And I'm
okay,
sure
but if he does know, what the fuck then? If he knows, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, he's that kind of guy, though. Like, I'm not surprised. Jeez. Are you surprised? I'm not really surprised.
I'm surprised. Because that seemed over the line. But, like, if you don't know and you're just watching on TV, like, you didn't know that, right, John? You didn't know. You didn't think anything of it.
Exactly.
But given
Paul knew that, too.
But given more context that, she made public, that you figure a lot of her fellow... and Heyman and Kayla have this relationship. They were on the Talking SmackDown show together for a while. They know each other. So Heyman would know. And he's saying that stuff on TV, and I go, oh, what's he talking about? It just felt off. Kayla looked uncomfortable. I didn't like it.
Yeah, but again, they're just playing characters here. Is Paul Heyman being the sleaze that he is? And that's just it. It's the same thing like we did with Bobby Heenan, like saying how he, screw him, he's dead. Like that's kind of rough, terrible to say, but again, he's doing it in character.
Okay. I don't know if
and again,
you need to put that as part of your character. I don't think you need to implicate Kayla in that type of thing.
Paul's that kind of guy that goes kind of far like that. Like he'll take a little thing and kind of stretch it and see how far he can take it.
Mm-hmm.
He's that kind of guy, and that's what gets people talking.
Yeah.
I got you talking.
Yeah, it did, but not in like a positive way. It makes me think, oh, come on, Heyman. Come on, man. Unnecessary. Low blow. Out of bounds. Let's not go there.
You think of him in high standards? Like that's,
No.
Wow.
No, I don't. I don't. But I have hopes for humanity. And, I mean, why should I, right? Constant disappointment. Anyways. Heyman said Jimmy Uso will be on SmackDown next week, so we'll continue the bloodline thing next week. Toronto's a pretty big city. Roman Reigns couldn't show up? No Roman in Toronto? It's like, it's the biggest city in the country. It's one of the bigger cities in the world. They had 16,000 sell out in the arena. I'm surprised they didn't bring Roman in for this show because, it's not some small town. I mean, they've run in some smaller towns, some smaller cities where Roman has shown up, and here, no Roman, just Heyman backstage. I get that Edge was the star of the show, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's Toronto. You figure they might get Roman.
But think about time-wise. Like, if Edge gets half an hour, Roman's going to get half an hour, so that's like half the show right there. Just two guys. So that's...
So?
Hey, I'm not going to say that's a bad thing, but I think that's the way they looked at it, where it's like Roman already does a lot, and when he comes back, it's going to be a big deal again. So we'll just give this to Edge this week, and then Roman, whenever he comes back, that can be its own thing.
I don't think we're going to see Roman for a while. I think they're going to space it out. Next week will be Jimmy. Maybe the week after, Solo. Week after that will be Heyman again. Week after that, Jimmy again. Week after that, maybe Roman. Like, I think we're not going to see Roman for a while.
Maybe not till the season premiere.
Like in September?
Or early October, maybe.
Really? God damn. Why not? And he's a little hurt, too, so maybe he's taking time off. Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair beat Bayley and Io Sky. Bianca hit the KOD on Bayley for the win. Charlotte's nose got busted up during the match. Not a bad match. Damage Control after the match backstage attacked Bianca Belair and re-injured her leg, whatever that means. So Bianca's going to be working an injury. What'd you think of the tag match?
Well, I just kind of put over my point where I'm like, Charlotte and Bianca should be tag champs. Like, it would make the tag division mean something. Mm-hmm. They've already beaten the tag champs, the old tag champs. In fact, they beat Damage Control, pretty much the most powerful tag team in WWE's women's division. Just makes a lot of sense. I don't know why they don't go in that direction.
Maybe they will. I mean, the tag champs now are who? Chelsea Green and Piper Niven?
Because Piper just takes the title and it's that, like, that's terrible. That's really bad. Lazy.
She just bullied Chelsea into being her tag partner. She's like, I'm your partner now. Chelsea was with Adam Pearce, and she's like, I want to hold auditions for my new partner. And Adam Pearce is like, I don't know about that. And then Piper Niven's like, there are two ladies there. What are their names? The tiny ones. The little tag team. Katana and Kaden.
Yeah, Kaden
right?
Carter. Yeah.
The little munchkin lady there who flips a lot was there, and she was saying something about wanting the tag title shot, and then Piper Niven kind of attacked them, dropped them both, and was like, I'm your partner now!
Yep.
And Chelsea's like, oh, okay. And then that's how she's the tag team champion now. It's, yeah, it was stupid. It was
lazy,
stupid.
Very lazy.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, Charlotte and Bianca will be way better tag team champions. Of course. Austin Theory beat LA Knight. The Miz was on commentary. And LA Knight at one point was chasing the Miz around the ring. Miz got into the ring. LA tried to clothesline him over the top rope, but Miz just kind of flailed. And then they had to do it again. It was a real botch. You have to do one thing, Miz. One move. You take one move and you can't quite do it right. people, like, it's amazing to me how many people around wrestling that talk about how good Miz is and how what a great talent and da-da-da. I'm like, what? Tell me one great match he's had in his whole career. Give me one great Miz match. Has Meltzer rated anything that he's done like over 3 stars in his whole career? You know what I'm saying? Like, not that Meltzer is the be-all, end-all of anything, but like, the guy has not had a great match his whole career, and he's been WWE for like nearly 20 years now. And his promos are not all-time classic promos. He's just serviceable. He can just kind of get the point across and keep you going from point A to point B. It's not like he's saying anything groundbreaking or that entertaining. It astounds me how people put over The Miz in pro wrestling, and I go, he's very mid. He's very basic, you know? Like, there's nothing that kind of sets him apart from anybody other than he comes from reality TV and he kind of made it in wrestling.
Well, first, I think in terms of best matches for The Miz, it's probably his match against Seth Franklin from Backlash. Remember for the IC title? This was a long time ago. That was probably his best match.
He probably had his best match against Daniel Bryan.
I mean, it was good. I really think the one with Seth was probably better, though. Because it really showed that he can go back and forth. It felt like Daniel really like carried the crap out of him. Where the Seth one, it felt like, I mean, yeah, Seth more or less, but Miz held his own in that one.
Yeah.
With the Bryan one, like you know that, like Bryan was so carrying that one. I mean, but there was heat with that one. You got to give him that one too. But he's had his moments. Miz, like, he gets his moments where he gets over too, and he gets big reactions. It's just consistency. It's just, for the most part, yeah, he's one of the most boring acts in all of WWE.
Yeah.
Like, week in, week out,
Ugh.
he's consistently not great.
Yeah.
But he'll have his moments every now and then, and people will be like, oh, what about The Miz?
Yeah, I don't get that. It's not enough. And even his so-called moments are like not. I don't like it. I'm not into it. I don't like the tiny balls thing that he got over. Like, what the fuck is that? That's not anything. That's dumb. Like, everything he does is like very low level, stupid, just trash that gets over in wrestling because, you know, wrestling is low level, stupid trash most of the time. Let's be honest.
But for a while, it was other people he was getting over off of, like over Sandow, of Alex Riley. Like, these guys were helping get him over more so.
Yeah.
And now he's actually getting himself somewhat over himself. Again, like you said, not great, but people are still reacting to him at least.
Anyways, LA Knight struggled to clothesline Miz over the top rope, and then he got rolled up by Austin Theory. Theory also had a handful of tights. So LA Knight took the L there to Austin Theory. LA was very over in Toronto. Fans loving LA Knight. Yeah. And the Street Profits beat the OC. And Bobby Lashley came out to pose with them afterwards.
They're the faces, regardless of how they try to position it.
Are they?
They were cheered. When Bobby came out, that was a big pop.
Yeah, I guess. Lacey Evans gone from WWE. She's done.
I'm not surprised. Are you surprised?
I mean, they haven't really used her lately, but I always saw her as a talent. She can talk.
Of course.
She's got the look. She's got size. She's strong. Military background. Mother of 2. Decent wrestler. Like, there's a lot going for Lacey Evans. I'm a little bit surprised WWE let her go, and a little bit surprised that they couldn't figure out a way to do something with her.
Disappointing. I mean, especially because at one point it was her and Charlotte at WrestleMania for the title, and she was probably going to win the title from Charlotte the way it was going, I think. So that's very disappointing how things can just not work out because of situations sometimes. But things happen, and when she did come back, they used her poorly. One of the worst returns ever. Like, remember she'd come back, maybe she won one match, and then she'd lose the rest, and then disappear,
Yeah.
and then come back and then lose. Like,
it's like Lacey Evans wants you to cheer for her. Remember that time when they're like, Lacey Evans would like you to cheer for her, and we're like, wait a second, what? Because she had all these emotional promos about like, and the first few were like, oh, okay, she's a babyface. And then she kept saying the same promo basically for a few weeks. And I was like, okay. And then she came out as a heel, and it made no sense. This whole reboot military gimmick that they gave her made no sense, had no direction, and they never gave her a shot with it. They dropped the ball. She didn't. It wasn't her fault. When you stick her with that bullshit, like, what is she supposed to do? It doesn't make any sense. Talk about your abuse and your tough childhood, and then come out and demand the fans cheer for you because you've gone through a lot of shit. How's that going to get over in any way? It's hard to boo you because you've been abused and you've had a tough childhood, so why are you going to, boo her? She just came back from maternity leave. Everybody knows she just had another kid. How do you boo her? And then she's like, boo me, you pieces of garbage. You should cheer me. So it's like, okay, we will cheer you, but that's not even the desired effect. You're supposed to boo her, which is fucking crazy. Not her fault at all. They fucked her with that gimmick. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they weren't thinking, or maybe it was just a big rib on her to get rid of her. Who fucking knows? But I mean, again, AEW wouldn't be stupid to pick a talent like her up. Their women's division needs some legitimacy. She's exactly the type of person that they should pick up in AEW. We were talking about it last week, how they need more WWE experience. We need, they have a lot of people that are very new to pro wrestling in their division. They need people that aren't so new to pro wrestling, that have been there, that have been in high-pressure situations. They know how to wrestle on television. Lacey Evans knows how to do that. I don't think she'd be as big of a get as Toni Storm was, but she'd be a get for AEW. So, yeah. Although she says she's going to do OnlyFans. So, I don't know about that. Apparently, that's what Lacey is saying. I mean, she'll probably make more money off that than wrestling, so good for her. That's what Mandy Rose is doing, right? Mandy Rose never went back to wrestling. NXT champion, looking good, doing well, and then she's like got a fan site where she's showing like a hint of nipple, and WWE's like, take it down, and she's like, I'm making more money off this shit. And then she quit wrestling, and I think she's still just doing that. She's not back in wrestling. She didn't turn up anywhere.
Right. So that's it. Like, I don't know. You kind of notice this too a little bit. Like, some of the women that are there, like if they're in WWE, yeah, they're all about the wrestling. But once they're not in WWE, it's like, well, screw wrestling.
I can just take pictures of my boobs or half of my boobs and make money. I mean, fuck it.
Well, you see a lot of them, like, they didn't start to be wrestlers. They just got a chance to be in WWE.
They were like models, a lot of them. A lot of them were kind of in modeling, and then they got into wrestling because somebody told them to. And then they got famous off wrestling, and then they went back to modeling. And it's like, well, now people know who I am, so they want to see my shit more. It's a good move. Good for them.
So, but I mean, you say it'd be good for AEW to pick her up, but maybe it's not good for her to go to AEW because it's not what she really wants to do.
I mean, why take bumps when you could take pictures?
I mean, that's it.
But if AEW had the money and they, and she was willing, yeah, I would go for that. Seems like a move. Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch went to a double count out on Raw this week, and Adam Pearce says it will take place again in the future in a steel cage. Don't know when. Maybe Payback on September the 2nd. Is it officially for Payback?
Yeah, it's official, yeah.
All right. Is that the first match official for Payback?
I thought maybe Seth and Shinsuke was, but
I'm
not sure what's official.
Shinsuke was interviewed in the ring this week, asked why he attacked Seth Rollins last week, spoke in Japanese. Seth Rollins came out, wanted to know why. said he could get a title shot anytime he wanted. Just name the time, name the place. And then Shinsuke whispered something to Seth, and Seth looked all freaked out. And then Shinsuke left or went to leave and then hit him with Kinshasa from behind. And Shinsuke kind of stood tall and walked away. So probably payback. But I don't think they made it official.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that it seems like that. I also agree with what Ted Cook just commented there about how Becky's t-shirt is terrible. That lemon shirt, and the fact that apparently it's selling really well, horrendous. This is why you don't buy WWE merchandise. It's so tacky and lame. Who would ever wear this kind of stuff? No offense if your kids are going to wear that or like to wear the lemon, but I think that looks awful.
I don't know. I don't even think I've seen the lemon shirt. It's just a big lemon, isn't it? They're selling that?
Yeah, they're selling that.
I saw Becky wearing it, a t-shirt with a big lemon on it. Because she makes lemonade out of the lemons that she's given booking-wise or whatever. Who cares? Who cares?
Terrible.
Whatever. Raw was not good this week, again. Overall, just a bad show. Sami Zayn beat JD McDonuts.
That was probably the best part, was just that match. But even then, it's like JD's like done nothing so far.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to take him seriously if he always loses.
He's involved with the Judgment Day. He's Finn Balor's friend. The Judgment Day's having problems. Damian Priest is upset that Finn isn't around. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not really that important, so if they have drama, I don't really care too much. So
Yeah.
This was a terrible way to start the show.
Yeah. It was the Judgment Day drama. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio in the ring doing a promo, and they're like, "Where's Finn?" And Rhea's like, "Don't worry about it." And Priest is like, "No, he should be here." And Rhea's like, "Don't worry about it." And then Sami Zayn's like, "Hey guys," you know. No, JD McDonuts came out and he was like, "Oh, I have a message. Finn will talk to you guys later." It's like, cool.
So
Great promo,
stupid.
guys. Great promo. Led to a match. Sammy beat JD McDonough despite Finn Balor doing a distraction. Finn couldn't show up for the Judgment Day promo, but he was in the next segment doing a distraction for his friend. That didn't even work. Gunther did a promo, and then Chad Gable and Alpha Academy came out, and then Chad Gable beat Giovanni Vinci, and then Gunther was mad, so he wrestled Otis and beat Otis. And then we had Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle beating the Viking Raiders. Next week, it'll be Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle versus the New Day in some sort of match to determine number one contenders, potentially for the tag titles, but Kevin Owens is hurt, so the tag team championship is kind of unclear at this point. I don't know.
I think at this point I turned off Raw because I'm like, this is so lame and dull.
It was
I
so
just
boring.
have to take a break.
It was a very, very boring episode of Raw. But yes, Ted Cook is correct. Gunther is the best thing on Raw. I really hope we get to see the Ring General on Sunday here in Montreal. Laval. And Cody Rhodes beating Finn Balor in the main event. Judgment Day attacked Cody after the match. Sami Zayn tried to make the save. JD McDonough came out. And Judgment Day took control, beat up Cody and Sami. Priest hit a Razor's Edge on Sami through the announce table. Everybody's doing Razor's Edge these days. Priest does it. Sheamus does it.
Sheamus.
Yep.
Well, Sheamus has done the Celtic Cross for a long time.
Yeah.
That used to be his finish for a while.
It's a hell of a finisher. Devastating.
I
does that suck
Finn,
to
like,
take?
that's...
How many Razor... Have you taken a lot of Razor's Edges? Like, what's worse? Like a Razor's Edge or a Powerbomb? Because I feel like the Razor's Edge is way worse. Powerbomb is way more controlled. And a Razor's Edge, I mean, you're just kind of soaring through the air. There's not a ton of control, and if you don't land right, it could go horribly wrong. That Razor's Edge to me has always looked horrifying to take. I'm sure you've taken both.
It's all about the execution. Like the powerbomb, the problem with some powerbombs, they can be really fast, right? So that can be quite deadly if you get a fast powerbomb, like snap. Like remember Benoit used to do really snap ones. Those can really hurt if you're not ready for that.
Yeah.
The same thing could be for the Razor's Edge too. I mean, if the guy doesn't toss you and just like kind of lets you down with the move, it's fine. But if he
Yeah.
kind of tosses you, then pray that your neck lands well.
Like, Sheamus tossed Edge a little bit tonight.
Yeah, well, he's a big guy though. He has to though too, so he clears, right? So
Yeah.
there's that too.
It was rough. It was a rough landing. And Sammy taking the Razor's Edge through the announce table, too, was also rough. Both rough.
Yeah, probably the announce table is an easier bump because it's not as difficult
high.
landing on that, something like that.
You're
Yeah.
landing on
It's also
not as high up, right? So the fall is not as bad, but you're crashing through some shit. It's not fun. Cushions the blow maybe a bit.
I would think so. Like
Yeah.
the way those tables are like Lego blocks, the way they come apart, like it's probably more of an easier bump.
Yeah. And that was Raw. Not great. Not great. Raw's going to be in Quebec City Monday night.
Did you see the superplex that Finn did? Like that
Yes.
looked
like
off.
It killed Cody. Landed on
that
his
was
head.
like almost a brain buster.
Yeah. It was like, but like a real brain buster where his brain almost busted. That superplex was really, really bad. But that shows you, like, those guys know what they're doing. But slightly off in the execution of a move like that, any number of moves could be, like they're inches away from some serious happening there. But Cody looked like he hurt his head. Like he landed on his head.
Maybe it's a size thing or something. I don't know. Like, because Finn's not as tall as Cody, so he's got to give him more of a push, maybe, and he didn't get enough of a push. I'm not sure, or he went too quick, but something was off there, and that could have been really bad.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't.
Yeah, that was a scary one, right? That was really bad. That was probably the scariest bump all week. Just Cody, the way he landed on that superplex was... Yeah, it was right on his head. Like the top of his head, like right over here. And I saw him clutching it afterwards. I'm like, yeah, that hurt, dude. That's not selling. Because after a superplex, you're not clutching your head. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how you sell the superplex. But he was like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Could have been a concussion. I mean, it might have been a concussion,
Maybe. Stinger, maybe.
Something. It's not fun. Got to be careful, too, with Cody. I mean, he's a golden goose, Well,
what's his big match at Payback? Like, it's probably going to be against, like, Damian Priest, like, who's wrestling on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I guess Cody ain't doing shit right now. Maybe he just wrestled Finn.
And he wrestled Dominic on Money in the Bank, so.
Maybe him and Sammy against...
If he's the replacement for Kevin, maybe? I don't know. We replace people now in tag teams, right?
Does Kevin need to be replaced? Like, how bad is Kevin hurt?
If you don't see him for 2 weeks, I'm sure it's not good.
But you would think they'd have a plan. Like, if they know he's going to be out for 6 months, that they would be like, all right, maybe the tag titles are going to do something here.
You would think.
They haven't talked about it. Like, they're still saying Sammy's a tag champion. They don't really talk about Kevin Owens. But it's like the vibe I'm getting is, well, he'll be back in a few weeks and then they'll just kind of resume. Not like he'll be back in a few months and we need to move on with the tag belts, but I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard much as far as how long he's going to be out for. What's the deal with Rhea Ripley beating Indy Hartwell and then Candice LeRae like attacking Rhea after the match and Candice and Indy just kind of beating her up and leaving her laying? That was a weird thing for babyfaces to do.
Well, this is the problem making Rhea too strong is that they have to make her almost like a face the way she's being booked because that's the only way people can get any over on her is they have to cheat kind of to beat her up. They have to 2-on-1 her all the time.
It was weird. It was a weird move.
I felt weird, I know.
Coming up on Raw, Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle versus New Day. Chad Gable versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship will happen on Monday night in Quebec City as well. Jimmy Uso set to return to SmackDown next week, and Rey Mysterio will wrestle Grayson Waller in a non-title match. Grayson
We will not
Waller.
be there.
We will not be where?
In Quebec City. I
On
don't know
Monday
about
night?
you. I'm not going there.
No, I'm not going to Quebec City either. I'm good. I'll be at the show in Laval on Sunday. That's enough. That's enough for me. Do you know who Dylan Dennis is?
He's the guy in a feud with Connor, no?
No, he's one of Connor's training partners. He's one of his jiu-jitsu guys. He's in a feud with Logan Paul right now.
Oh, Logan Paul, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. He's going really hard at Logan Paul on Twitter, and it's
But it's not actually going to happen, though, is it? Like,
what? Dylan Dennis, Logan Paul? They're supposed to box in October.
But that's not official, though. Like, they're
yeah.
just,
No, it's official.
Oh,
it's an official boxing match. And that's why Dylan Dennis is, and he's just posting pictures of Logan Paul's fiance or wife or something, just in various states of undress, and with different men. So many different men that she's been photographed with throughout the years to, mess with Logan Paul, I guess.
So that's a weird kind of way of messing with people. But
yeah.
Whatever. Like,
I mean, he's just going really hard at Logan Paul on Twitter, and it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. And it's kind of associated with WWE because, Logan Paul, but Dylan Dennis is just going after him. You have a chance to check out Dylan Dennis's Twitter.
Well, that's how you sell a fight, though, I guess. But if you have to go to those kind of links, question how good the fight's going to be then.
I think Logan Paul probably beats his ass if Dylan Dennis even shows up. That's what I think. Dylan Dennis is a good jiu-jitsu guy, but in a boxing match, like I don't see how that's going to work. And Dylan Dennis is kind of notorious at this point for pulling out of fights, so I don't know. I don't know if this fight actually takes place, but I do hope for Logan Paul's sake that it does, so that Logan Paul can get his hands on this guy, because I think Logan Paul's going to put a beating on him. I think he whoops his ass in a boxing match. A jiu-jitsu match, other way around. But boxing match, I think Logan's got the advantage.
This what, in Vegas or Saudi Arabia?
I want to say England. I think, Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis. It's on the co-main event of the KSI versus, what's his name? The Fury, Tommy Fury fight. KSI.
The guy beat, Jake.
Yeah. KSI versus Tommy Fury, and those guys are English fighters, so that's why I'm thinking it's in England. Manchester. Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis is the co-main event, which is kind of turning into the main event as far as hype. But KSI, Tommy Fury is kind of a big one too, especially in England, where both of those guys are from.
So this is another watch-along for you guys.
I don't know about that, but honestly, because of all the shit-talking, because of the hype, and because there's 2 fights on this one that could be interesting, we might do a watch-along for it. When it's one of these freak show fights, I don't know. We'll see what the UFC is doing on October 14th. We'll see what is happening around that time. I'm not committing to anything. October? I don't commit to anything for October. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for October. All right?
All right, Halloween's on hold. It's good to know.
What?
Said Halloween's on hold. It's good to know.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not ready for it. Talk to me in September. We can discuss then. Okay. CM Punk. Where do you want to start? CM Punk or Cash Wheeler?
Well,
let's start with Cash
Wheeler. Okay. But you didn't see the trios match last week, no? Like the CMFTR against House of Black?
I saw highlights.
A great match. Fantastic match.
Nice.
And then the CM Punk stuff happened after that.
All right.
And then everything went to hell on the internet.
I mean, everything
For
went to
a
hell
couple
in
of days.
CM Punk. CMFTR land has gone to hell over the past few days. It's been
Well, Cash
kind of a
only
mess.
today, really.
Yeah. Well, let's start with Cash Wheeler because that's a little bit more, a little bit simpler. Cash Wheeler arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm. Apparently, he's had a warrant out for his arrest since July when this incident happened.
28, yeah.
And he just turned himself in today. And according to the police report that I read, there was a driver who saw another driver, Cash, swerving in and out of traffic, and was honking his horn and trying to get around him, and drove on the shoulder of the road to get around him. And as he was on the shoulder, he pointed a gun at this guy. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, quite frankly, who was involved who was the victim in this crime. But Cash allegedly pointed a gun at this person in some sort of road rage incident and then sped off, but the person was able to get the license plate and take a picture and everything, and that's how Cash got caught. And also, this person picked Cash out of a lineup. So it was also like the picture lineup and identified him as the
I think
aggravator.
One thing we should clarify. The incident happened, I think, July 27th. And then the warrant for the arrest, I think, was only put out yesterday. If not mistaken.
Okay.
Just to clarify that.
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. I didn't know that. Because details, I mean, everything just kind of broke this morning, and details have been trickling out over the day, so anything you have to add is always useful.
I think it's important to say he wasn't, fugitive and wrestling on AEW at the same time when this was happening. The second that he found out about it, he turned himself in.
And he has been released on bond, and he's had to turn in all firearms that he has in his possession to the authorities. And I think he's awaiting something. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if he could get jail time. I don't know what's going to happen to this guy. But apparently he can still travel. And he can still go to England. They will allow him into the country. So the match against the Young Bucks is still on. But what a thing to happen. You're a week away from All-In, the biggest show in your company's history, one of the biggest crowds in the history of professional wrestling. And you have these guys that portray themselves as the responsible adults in the room because they're working with children, right? They're working with children. But the responsible adults can't keep their hands to themselves, doing road rages, cutting promos unnecessarily. When the children in the room seem to be behaving quite well, acting like adults, not speaking out of turn. I mean, the behavior from CM Punk and both FTRs, FTR hair and bald. I mean, it's really disappointing because, they're the only ones doing this type of shit. And here, FTR hair, Cash Wheeler, getting himself arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm, which, by the way, flashing a gun at somebody in Florida I thought was allowed. It's in Florida. I thought you were allowed to do that. Maybe you are. Probably get off. I think anything goes in Florida, especially with guns. You could just shoot guns in the air. Yosemite Sam style, and nobody minds. Pew, 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 They love it. They love it. 4th of July, baby. Florida. So, I think Cash will probably be fine. But it's just what the hell, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? If he did it. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't do it. Maybe the other driver was in the wrong. Maybe the other driver put his life in danger and Cash is really upset or whatever. Or maybe not. I don't know. But how do you get yourself arrested for this, man? How does this happen? Like, no matter what happened, no matter what the circumstances are, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good.
I mean, it doesn't look good.
You point a
And
gun at somebody?
No, it
Crazy.
doesn't look good, obviously. But like you said too, we don't know the whole story yet. That hasn't come out yet, so it's good to get that out first before you start deciding people's fate and what should happen to them and what should and shouldn't happen on television because of that.
Okay. I mean, sure. But what if it's like, yeah, this is what he did?
Well, we'll wait and see. Again, like, well, with wrestlers, it's sad, but this has happened where there seems to be unfortunate events that happen when they're driving and it goes awry. With the Usos, a couple of times as well.
That's different. They didn't point a gun at anybody in a road rage thing. This is beyond. This is a step further. This is different.
Wow, the Usos didn't look good. When one of them like drunk and like almost assaulted an officer, like or tried to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't look too good either.
It's not good either. But I wouldn't equate the two. This is like, I don't know. It's not a good look. Yeah, it's a different thing. Oh, it's a really bad look for him.
Yeah, Ric Flair, that's a good point too.
What about Ric Flair?
Well, the problems he's had. You remember that? Remember Edge made fun of that on Raw?
Mm-hmm.
About his road rage incident that happened?
Oh, right. Yeah. He didn't point a gun at anybody.
No. But again, bad look. And WWE took advantage of that. That's a weird thing. Maybe it's a culture thing in the US where it's like they feel road rage is like a common thing and people are okay with it. Some people seem to be fine with it, like you said, but it shouldn't be okay.
Do you remember this quote from the great Miro?
I think you posted this already on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, right? This was about The Undertaker, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. But I love the last line in this, right? The last line where he goes, "Sorry, Undertaker, we don't have guns and drugs and don't fight each other backstage." Yes, you fucking do. Yes, you fucking do. You have guns. You definitely have drugs, brother. And you're fighting each other backstage. Yes, you fucking do, Miro. Some of these old timers are calling this a bad thing. Undertaker's like, back in my day, we had guns and knives. And they still do. Taker's loving it. Taker is loving this. He called Cash personally and was like, "I'm proud of you. What you've done for the business. Bringing old school wrestling back. Throwback style with your gimmick. And you're taking it out of the ring." It's Taker, by the way.
That's your Taker. It's not bad. But I think Miro was referring to the guys that play video games. Like that section of the AEW roster that does that.
Cash Wheeler likes to drink and shoot guns, baby. He's a Harley Race style old school brother. Taking that gimmick real far. Just not kidding around. When I saw that shit, I was like, my God, they're taking that old school brother gimmick all the way. All the way. Motherfucker's pointing guns at people. Who's he think he is, Terry Funk? It's not 1972, Jack. You can't get away with that anymore, man. What are you talking about? This guy has been listening to too many podcasts about the old days thinking he's fucking Jack Briscoe. It's not. You can't do that anymore. Unbelievable. But it's just such a, it's a brother type of thing, old school. Harley Race carrying a gun. All these guys carried guns, shooting guns off, Dusty Rhodes. And these are the guys that they idolize, right? So when I heard it was Cash doing it, I was like, of course it's Cash. Of course. Who else? What's your finish? I'll move. Tremendous. What a story. So that's bad. but it'll probably be
It's
fine.
bad.
But like, you got to address it on TV now. Like, it's a big deal.
Will they though? I don't know. I don't know if they'll address it though.
Okay, keep ignoring all the elephants in the room for AEW. All the external problems that the world is talking about, keep ignoring that on your TV show. That's a real good way to make professional wrestling. That's
Well,
what
I
you're
mean,
supposed to do.
I complained about the whole like FTR Bucks like build towards this. Like, all you did was say, "We challenge you," and then they just say, "All in FTR." That's all we've gotten. I've complained, and you're like, "Oh, you don't need to say anything." Now you have to say things.
Well, I didn't think they needed to say something on the first week. I think at some point they should do a promo on each other. I never said they didn't need to talk at all. I didn't think they needed to. I mean, I don't think they need to do huge promos, but it wouldn't hurt. Like one talking segment, which they're going to do on Dynamite. But at this point, it's like, fuck. What's going to happen if we beat you, FTR? Are you going to shoot us? You going to point a gun at us when we beat you? What are you going to do?
I'm worried though with pre-tape because after Kenny's thing, like, I wasn't great. I don't know if they lost the magic of doing pre-tapes for whatever reason. Live works, but the Bucks don't seem to want to do live promos.
Young Bucks beat the Guns in the main event of Dynamite this week. The Guns tried to hold on to one gun to kind of like do a cheating finish, and then the Bucks reversed it, and then they did a cheat finish, the same thing the Guns were trying to do to get the win. Jay White and Juice Robinson came out and attacked the Bucks after the match, and FTR came out to help the Bucks and chase off the Guns and White and Juice, who they have had their own problems with in AEW. And then FTR and the Bucks faced off to close the show. So again, face-offs in the ring, but not many words. And it was interesting to see FTR come out and save the Young Bucks, showing that there is mutual respect among the tag teams. Or they want them fresh or whatever. They want the best version of the Bucks so nobody could take away the win from them, you know? Something like that. One of those wrestling things.
Something like that. Also, just to play mind games at the end there, too, because it looked like they were going to hit the Shatter Machine, but they didn't. Which, if you're going to do that, that's fine, but MJF and Adam Cole did the same thing like 2 segments ago, so it's like you're redoing the same thing over and over on the same show. Like, that shouldn't happen.
Whatever. It was what it was. I didn't think Dynamite was particularly good this week. I don't know about you, but
again, Collision wasn't fantastic, but definitely better than Dynamite. Because man, Dynamite was just all over the place. And although I'm sure you're going to say Jarrett and Hardy was the worst part, I didn't think that was the worst part.
Oh God, it was so horrible. It was just laughably bad. It was just a joke. You know, they took everything that is pro wrestling and they just turned it sideways and it just turned it into a complete mockery. It was horrible.
For me, I felt MJF, Adam Cole, their little segment before they came out into a promo, that was atrocious. That was an embarrassment to wrestling. That, to me, was the worst thing I saw this week.
Yep.
That whole, like, crocodile hunter thing they tried to do. Whew.
The Outback Steakhouse thing was okay, but then they got to the arena and they pretended to be a crocodile hunter because they're facing Aussie Open, and they had a kiddie pool filled with blow-up crocodiles, and then they clotheslined a guy, double clotheslined him into the pool for some reason, and then Tony Khan was involved in their little sketch and was yelling at them. Oh, it was so bad. That was cringy bad. Like, God damn, what are you doing?
Might be the worst thing I've ever seen AEW do.
I don't know if I can argue with you on that. It was the worst pre-tape segment they've ever done, probably. They've done a lot of bullshit, though. I mean, you remember those Brandy Rhodes fucking Dr. Luther promos?
Those were bad, too, but they weren't as long.
Yeah, this took time. This took effort. They went to multiple locations. They used Tony Khan. He doesn't have better things to do with his time. So bad. Tony Khan is not an actor. He's not a character. The kangaroo kick thing wasn't bad, actually. The kangaroo kick kind of got over. Gotta be fair. Gotta be fair. MJF had one moment in it. The kangaroo kick was not a bad thing.
It's not great, but fine. If you want something, you're trying to salvage something out of garbage. Fine.
I mean, it got over because the fans were chanting it.
Yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only reason. But I feel like they're so over now, they can almost do anything. But it still doesn't mean it's bad. Like, it's really awful to watch sometimes when they do these promos. The live stuff's fine. When they're in the ring, that was okay with MJF and Adam Cole talking about how much they want to win the match. That was good. We don't need this backstage stuff anymore, but for some reason, they love doing that.
Yeah, every week I feel like we say the same thing. The backstage segment was bad. Once they got in the ring and did a promo, that was good. And it was the same thing this week. The promo in the ring was good. I got no complaints. I actually enjoyed it. But that backstage thing beforehand was so bad. It's hard to reconcile with the good promo that they did it right afterwards. It's like, well, what? Couldn't we have just done one promo? Couldn't we have just done one promo? It's just a
it's
joke.
Off-putting, without question.
And it's not like a funny joke where it's like, haha, that was good comedy. It's like a fucking joke. Like, what is this? Whose dumb idea was this? Because it's trash. Every week it's trash. They haven't done a good one at all. Every week it's over the top stupid, and Adam Cole makes it worse. His acting is so bad. He's so, like, too much. His reactions are too much. It's so bad. MJF on the mic in front of a live crowd. Yes, gold. MJF in these backstages, fucking awful. Awful. Fuck, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into the bullshit fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match.
Okay, first thing. Why did Jeff walk away to start the whole thing? I didn't understand. That's the thing that threw me off with the whole thing. I didn't understand the beginning. Why is this happening?
It started off bad, and it continued to devolve into shittiness. He was in the ring, Jeff Hardy. Did his entrance, came to the ring, and then wandered backstage. Just kind of wandered around till he found an area that seemed to have, weapons on the wall. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And then Karen Jarrett and Satnam Singh were there, and they attacked Jeff Hardy, who eventually found Jeff Jarrett. For the purposes of this, we're not going to call them Jeff and Jeff. We'll call them Hardy and Double J. Although Matt Hardy was there, too. Ethan Page and Isaiah Cassidy were involved to help. Matt dumped a bucket of blood, I guess blood, red shit, on Jeff and Karen. And their reaction to it was over the top, ridiculous. Somebody super kicked Jeff off camera. I think it was Jeff Hardy. Somebody super kicked Jarrett, right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where Jarrett got kicked and his head banged. He went, he took the kick and Karen was right next to him. So, she got kicked too. It was a double effect. Her head got rocked there.
I think that was intentional, though, too, because Karen took a couple of bumps in this match.
Did.
I don't know if you caught that.
Yes. She did take a couple bumps, and it's always surprising when she does. She was on Isaiah's back. Isaiah was going to help Jeff in some way. She jumps on his back, and he just kind of runs a few steps and just kind of dumps her off of him.
Off the ramp.
Off the ramp.
They're on the ramp and throw her down off the ramp.
It was crazy. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And that didn't even take her out, by the way. Karen Jarrett is the real star of this
dead.
match. That didn't even take Karen out. She took a bump off Isaiah Cassidy's back, off the ramp, and she was still going. Sanjay was there, Ethan Page, Jay Lethal. There was smoke coming out from under the ring at one point that seemed to fill the area, and then it just stopped. Dead. No more smoke, no more anything. It was just like, well, it was a minor effect. Jeff Hardy hit his swanton on Double J through a table. That was actually pretty nasty and looked like the finish, but Jay Lethal stopped the cover. Like, that was the best part of the match, that swanton through the table, because he landed with a thud. Like, that was nasty. And then Jeff Hardy takes the guitar away from Jeff Jarrett and smashes him over the head with it. And at that point, I go, okay, Jeff Hardy maybe is looking good. Some guy in a Jason mask, Chainsaw Charlie, I don't know what they call him.
Leatherface.
Leatherface.
In Texas Chainsaw Massacre is Leatherface, yeah.
What's Jason?
Jason is Friday the 13th.
What's Freddy Krueger?
That's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Who's Freddy Krueger?
You're thinking of like an old wrestler, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. So Texas Chainsaw Deathmatch guy comes out in a fucking horrible getup. The mask looked like a dollar store mask, not even like Halloween Depot mask. You know, looked like fucking bottom of the barrel shit ass mask. The wig was horrible. It looks so bad. This guy comes out with a chainsaw, and you're like, who is this? It must be a wrestler that will reveal themselves under the mask. But no, they're telling you that it's really
Leatherface.
Leatherface, who's some character, and he chases Sanjay and Karen away.
This is sponsoring a video game. It's coming out.
It's a video game, not even a movie. I thought it was a movie.
Well, it is a movie, but this is for a video game.
Okay. So,
movie.
yeah, that's why they were having this match, because they were getting paid. This is an advertisement match. It's the Texas Chainsaw Deathmatch Massacre match, whatever, with Freddy Cooper. No, not Freddy Cooper. Leatherface.
Leatherface, yeah.
Leatherface. Shit, fucking what? This was worse than when RoboCop came and helped Sting in WCW. At least that RoboCop was real RoboCop. The guy had the real getup. Like, the suit was good. RoboCop's suit, when he came in WCW, looked just like the movies. That RoboCop suit was dope. This Leatherface mask looked cheap as fuck. If you're going to bring in fake movie characters and try to make them seem like they're real in pro wrestling, make it look good. Because this was cheap garbage. Garbage. Satnam chokeslam Jeff Hardy, and then just put Jeff Jarrett over him. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Jarrett wins for some reason, and got some sort of Texas Chainsaw fucking belt for winning the match. Like, there was a guy Leatherface's face on a belt. It was fucking ridiculous. He's standing there posing with a belt like he won a fucking world title after this complete disaster of a pro wrestling match. Just fucking shitting on the whole business. Embarrassing. I was embarrassed to be watching this shit. More than usual. What in the fuck? What a clusterfuck. Now, I get why they did it for the money, but how fucking desperate are you for the money, man?
100,000. So you got 100,000 for that?
That's
I get
it.
But it's not bad
That's
for
it?
that.
100,000 and you put that on your television? You let people watch that as a representation of what AEW is? For 100,000? Fuck, man. Tony Khan is strapped for cash. What's the matter, man? Daddy's not giving you any more money? What's the deal, TK? Fucking Jacksonville Jaguars costing too much? You got a new fucking field turf to put in? What the fuck is going on?
Well, this is Fight for the Fallen, right? So this goes to charity, actually. I believe this goes to fight the The Wildfires, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Where, in BC?
That would be nice.
In Hawaii, right? Yeah. That was fucking horrible. It was terrible. I mean, give the money yourself, Tony Khan. Get your dad to fucking chip in. I don't know. But no to that match. Big no. So many levels of bad. And you know what? If you're going to do a match like that, make it shorter. Make it simpler. Don't have it go all over the fucking arena. Don't do buckets of blood. Don't involve your whole roster. Like, fucking simplify it. It's a cash grab. Make it 5 minutes and get over with. Don't fucking go through a commercial break. That was a big chunk of the show. Fucking embarrassing.
Yep.
WCW 2000 level bad. It was horrible. It was the worst match in AEW history. And not because it was executed poorly, but because of how fucking stupid it was. Because I've never seen another match in AEW where they've introduced a character that's supposed to be part of the match that's a fucking fictional character. That's a fucking Leatherface. Is he going to work a match on Dynamite next week? Are we going to see Leatherface versus CM Punk on Collision? What? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Don't be bringing in cartoon characters to my pro wrestling. Don't do that shit to me, because then you make everybody look stupid.
I still don't know if it's the worst match, because that Nakazawa match, remember from the Fallen or Fighter Fest? I think the first ever Fighter Fest against
Doesn't
that
matter.
video game guy.
Doesn't
He was
matter.
a wrestler though.
So what? That was a fucking
hard
pre-show match. This was on Dynamite.
Fine.
They've got real wrestlers that didn't get to wrestle because this happened. You stuck two legends like Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett into this bullshit. Fucking bullshit. No good. And then Britt Baker beat the bunny.
Wasn't. Well, as we all expected, right?
Yeah, but this shit didn't get better. Didn't get better. And then
star power too. It's too bad.
They had star power in the match. Yeah, Jeff Hardy, Jeff Jarrett.
Well, I meant on the show overall. We skipped over Joker Sting who came back.
Yeah, Stinger was there. The Acclaimed got attacked by House of Black. They're doing something. I guess Billy Gunn will come back at some point. He's just kind of sad. House of Black has broken him mentally, but he will be back and help the Acclaimed possibly beat House of Black for the Trios belts at All-In.
Well, this is the problem when you don't watch Collision. You're going to miss some of this feud now. Because a lot of this has happened on Dynamite and Collision now, this feud.
It's not something I need to see.
Well, okay, fine, but you're going to miss it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Chris Jericho. Fucking Chris Jericho. Should we do Jericho? Okay.
This wasn't that bad.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but if you think about the logic, it was pretty goddamn stupid. It was pretty dumb.
Wrestling. It's always a tough thing.
Yeah, I know, but so Don Callis is in the ring with Chris Jericho, and Jericho Don Callis wants Jericho to join the Don Callis family, which at this point is Don Callis and Konosuke Takeshita. There is nobody else in this group.
Bullet Club Gold.
Are they part of the family?
Looks like after Dynamite, yeah.
Why?
Well, now they're in a match against Kenny, Kota, and Hangman at the All-In.
Okay. But what does that have to do with Don Callis? Oh, I guess. Oh, yeah. There was like a Kenny thing. It's fucking confusing, man. All right, let's start with the Kenny thing. Kenny is interviewed backstage by Jim Ross. Talks about Don Callis and how he grew up with Don Callis, and Callis was his uncle, Uncle Don. And he also talked about being an athlete and how he didn't have a lot of friends. And Don Callis gave him his first weights and his first protein powder and some mysterious vials that made him really good at sports, and he didn't ask what they were. So he basically intimated that Don Callis gave him steroids as a child.
I can't believe he said that. I don't know why. Why would you do that?
I don't know why he said that. It was very strange. It felt like kind of a joke, but it was like, yeah, it's weird though. Why would you say that? And then Don Callis interrupted him at a certain point. Jay White and Juice Robinson attacked him. Takeshita was there too. Hit Kenny with a piece of wood. As they're beating up Kenny, they show a shot of Jim Ross, and
yeah,
his face. He was just like, he wasn't like shocked. He wasn't like, oh my God, what are they doing to that man? He's like, I can't believe I have to fucking be involved in this bullshit. Like, he just looked embarrassed. He's like, fucking, like, they're just beating the shit out of Kenny Omega, and he's just like, this bullshit. That's fucking dumb company. He just looked disgusted. It was great. His face made that whole segment.
But it went with the cuts because they were doing weird cuts, if you noticed. Like,
yeah.
At one point, they're next to JR. Next point, they're next to a wall or something. Like, what the heck is going on here? Like, there's these weird jump cuts.
Yep.
That was happening. It's like,
very strange.
I don't get it.
I don't know what the hell that was. It wasn't good. And then we're told that Kenny's taken to a hospital. And then immediately we see Hangman Page, who says he's at the hospital, but he's clearly in an arena with an ambulance there just in front of him. And he goes, oh, I'm in front of the hospital now, and me and Kenny, we're going to get revenge, and Ibushi will be there too, and we're going to face Juice Robinson, Jay White, and Takeshita at Wembley Stadium.
And then they have to throw in the beer joke. I don't know why, but they have to throw that in there.
What did he say?
Because the guy came up to him and said, oh, you're on hospital grounds, you can't drink.
Oh, right.
I don't know why they think this stuff is funny or whatever. But...
I think it was to hammer home the point that they were really at a hospital, but like, fucking no, you weren't. It looked so unlike a hospital and so like every arena backstage that they do. Like, I don't even know why they bothered. It was so dumb. All that shit is dumb. And in the end, what do we get? Hangman, Kenny, and Ibushi against Juice, Jay, and Takeshita? That's what Kenny and Hangman are doing at All-In? That's it? It kind of sucks.
Well, what else would you want, though? This is it, though. Who else is there? That isn't already booked.
I don't know.
Like, there's nothing else, really, when you think
I don't know.
about
Kenny in a singles match. Kenny in a six-man? Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but this is trying to get everyone on the show now. Because now we're getting to, what, 8, 9 matches?
I think it's 8 in my last check.
Wow, yeah. We'll get to 12, don't worry.
Hope not. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a mid-match for Kenny and Hangman to have. And, like, okay, they got Ibushi back, but whatever. Honestly, at this point, whatever. It meant more when they had him back for that last match, that cage match, and he was barely there. He barely did anything, and it's like, all right, well, maybe he'll do more here, but the opponents, it's just, there's no real heat with Juice and Jay and Takeshita, especially to do this big show with them. Doesn't add up to me. And then we have some other bullshit that I don't care about for All-In. Orange Cassidy beats Wheeler Yuta in the opener. Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler beat up on Orange after the match. Chuck and Trent came out to make the save, but they just kind of got stopped. And then the Lucha Brothers came out and double super kicked Claudio. Moxley just left the ring. And Wheeler got dumped out of the ring. Eddie Kingston came out when everything seemed to be done. Like, didn't it feel like the segment was over? It was like, all right, everybody bailed.
Drags.
Baby faces are in the ring. Like, there's tons of baby faces in the ring. There's 3 heels outside the ring. We're good.
Yeah.
And then Eddie Kingston comes out, and I'm like, why? What are you doing here? And he goes, you guys need to find yourself partners, because me and these gentlemen here are going to wrestle you at Stadium Stampede at Wembley. Stadium Stampede, which is one of those matches all around the arena, which I don't love to begin with. And then I go, okay, well, who the fuck is in this match? Because he goes,
A lot of people.
me and these guys. And I go, well, who is you and these guys? Everybody? Because there's a lot of dudes in the ring. Orange Cassidy's with you, Chuck, Trent, both Lucha Brothers. Are they all in the match? And apparently they are.
Yes.
Apparently they are. It's all those guys. It's Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Penta El Cerro Miedo, and Rey Fenix against Moxley, Claudio, Wheeler, and 3 guys they need to find now. 3 guys? It's like me and my friends, 6 of us against you 3, and find yourself 3 more guys. Double up your team. What kind of bullshit in that? That's not what wrestling does. You go, okay, me and my 2 friends against you 2 guys. Find yourself a third partner. Let's have a match. It's not me and my 5 friends against you 3 guys. Find yourself 3 more dudes somehow. What?
Especially
Who are
the
they gonna
heels.
find? Yeah, especially the heels. 6-on-3, bitch. Find yourself 3 more dudes. What? Fuck. And the execution of like how you got to that match was so sloppy. Where Eddie Kingston, speaking of sloppy, comes out and he's like, Stadium Stampede, guys. Find yourself more friends. And I'm like, well, who's even on your team, man? How many guys are they supposed to find? 2? 3? 1? I don't know. Apparently it's 3. Which is outrageous. And Danielson's hurt, so...
Well, I would guess it's going to be 3 guys from New Japan, no?
You would hope. You would hope they'd get somebody cool. Maybe the Stone Pitbull there, Ishii, and that other guy they have with them, the Moxley's friend, and some other
Well,
dude.
they'd be on Moxley's side. Wasn't Ishii not on Moxley's side? So
Yeah, I
be him?
guess. I really don't know. I don't know who they're going to have, but like I wouldn't be surprised if the guys that they plan on having aren't even booked yet. Like when they announced the match, do you think that they had the 3 partners ready? Or you think they just, let's announce the match and let's figure it out? Honestly, the fact that they didn't announce anything on the show and we still don't know, I don't think they knew. When they made the match on Wednesday night, I don't think Tony Khan actually had 3 partners for them.
I think there's an idea. You know, like there's definitely going to be 3 guys, but maybe that could change, right? So we kept it open, but there's definitely 3 defaults for sure. I mean, he has enough people obviously on the roster to do it, but there's probably 3 guys that not sure he's gotten, but he wants to get maybe.
Well, it's not going to be Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay is going to wrestle Chris Jericho at All In, which is a cool match that they made this week. I like that.
It's a better match.
Huh?
It's a better match for both those guys.
Than, yeah, being in a 12-man,
yeah.
whatever mess. Yeah, for sure. This is way better. And I'm much happier watching this. Don Callis with Chris Jericho in the ring. Jericho teases that he's going to say no to Don Callis, but says yes, he will join the Don Callis family, and they hug and they celebrate, and Jericho's about to leave, but there's a picture under a, what do you call it, drape or curtain, some sort of thing. He's got a picture frame that's hidden, and Jericho wants to know what it is. And Don Callis is like, no, don't worry about that, don't worry about that. And then Jericho's like, no, I want to see it. So he unveils, and it's a picture of Don Callis, a painting of Don Callis with Jericho's head. He's like holding Jericho's disembodied head. And Jericho is shocked, and he's like, what? I was going to join your group, and this is what you're going to do. And Don Callis is like, I didn't think you were going to join the group. I don't know, you know? And then Jericho's like, huh?
He said, oh, you're going to assassinate me? And people popped when they said that.
Yeah.
It was weird.
And then Jericho's like, you're a scumbag, and I want the truth. And Don Callis is like, well, Jericho, you're an egomaniac. You don't deserve to be in the Don Callis family. Like, they turned on each other so quickly.
Yeah, so fast.
Why? What happened?
But, because that's Don, though. Like, it makes sense where Don's just that big of a jerk.
But
I
Jericho
like that,
turned first.
Yeah.
Jericho's like, you're a
Well, Jericho turned
scumbag.
twice, actually.
3 years ago, you weren't even in wrestling, and nobody gave a shit. I brought you back. Like, all this shit he was saying. They went from being best friends to there's a painting, and then all of a sudden, Jericho's like, fuck you, Don Callis. I'm not joining your group. You're a scumbag. I never liked you to begin with. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's a quick turn. It was stupid, man.
That
Didn't make a lot of sense.
It makes sense.
Not really.
No, the picture makes sense.
The picture makes sense. Don Callis having that picture ready to be like, you won't join my group. This is what I'll do to you, Jericho. That makes sense because he expected Jericho not to join the group. Fine. That makes sense. But Jericho seeing the picture and going, well, actually, I hate you, Don Callis, and all these things. It's like, what? What?
No,
You were just going to join his
Jericho
group,
would do
man.
that.
What?
But he got mad when he saw that. Like, I get that. Like, you felt that way, and then, like, you see that. It's like you got stabbed in the back, and then he just, like, unloads on him.
Anyways, Don slapped Jericho after Jericho said that he was a low-life worm who'd ruined every personal relationship he's ever had. Good slap, yeah. And then Jericho grabbed Don by the collar, and Takeshita came out with a chair, but Jericho caught him and attacked Takeshita, took him out. But then Will Ospreay showed up from behind, nailed Jericho, which allowed Takeshita to take control. Ospreay hit Jericho in the head with a chair. And then Don slammed the picture frame on Jericho's head. And Jericho kind of had to shield himself because that was coming in strong. That was a heavy thing. It made a thud. And Jericho's head was bleeding afterwards. He probably cut himself.
I think cut himself beforehand.
Yeah. But nevertheless, he did take a pretty good shot with that picture frame. And the chair. But the frame more. Like, that was it was solid, right? A solid thing.
He knew he had to protect himself. It's good.
Yeah. And then Sammy Guevara came out and chased everybody off with a baseball bat. So he was helping Jericho. So Sammy has not given up on his old friend Chris Jericho, which was, that made sense. That was a good moment.
Yep.
But, yeah, I don't know. Nick Wayne and Darby Allin beat the Gates of Agony. Darby hit the coffin drop while Nick Wayne did a moonsault to the other guy outside the ring at the same time off the same corner. It was a pretty sweet finisher. Like, it was a lot like Kenny and Kota's kind of double moonsault thing that they did, but this was with the coffin drop inside the ring to Nick Wayne outside the ring to stop the other guy with the moonsault. It was a pretty sweet finish. And then Sting appeared on the big screen after the match, and I know Johnny loved it because Sting had abducted Prince Nana, the manager of Swerve and AR Fox. And Sting is all Joker style, and he's got his like little Joker mask, or not but like face paint going.
Red lines.
He's acting all hee, you know. It was, Joker Sting, which I know you are a big fan of Joker Sting. I think it's just a cheap ripoff of the Joker, and not even a good. It's not that good, so I don't like it. But you love Joker Sting, so I know you were excited about that. When I saw him start doing that promo, I was like, oh, this is a different version of Sting we're seeing. This is Johnny's favorite.
Well, I just like how Sting has evolved in his character a bit. And it was nice that he went back to it because he went back to the Crow so many times. And it's like, well, the Crow was kind of like a step back. Like, this was the last true evolution of Sting. And it kind of just disappeared. So it's nice that he went back to it.
I guess I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the Crow Sting better.
Yeah, but what is the Crow Sting? Like, it's just, he has the face paint, he has the look. I mean, that's cool and all, but man, he's done that a long time. He's done that longer, I think, than Surfer Sting at this point.
So? It's cool.
I'm just saying, like, the next step afterwards was Joker Sting, and then you go backwards again. Like, I don't know. Like, he did Wolfpack Sting, and then he went back to Crow Sting. Like, there's been a lot of Crow Sting. It's nice to change it up. And that was the whole point of Joker Sting, was just to change it up a bit.
Yeah, but I'm saying what he changed it up to, I didn't like. I prefer just the Crow Sting, because I don't like that Joker character. I think it's goofy as hell. CM Punk talked about Hangman Page last week after Collision. Let's watch.
Yeah! Yeah! local supermarket, and I figured out why they
Okay.
call him Hangman.
Not the
It's
whole
because
What are you saying?
It's not the whole promo. You're missing the part where it starts off. He sees the sign and all that.
He
but-
sees a sign that says this is Hangman Country because they were in the Carolinas.
And there was also, I think, a sign just above that too that said Hangman was right.
Okay.
I think
So
yeah.
Punk decides
So I-
to respond to the sign in the crowd.
Yeah. And remember, they're tearing down the ring for Ring of Honor tapings right now.
Yeah.
Someone's there for Dasher. That's nice.
Yeah. And Punk decides to speak. So here's Punk.
supermarket, and I figured out why they call him Hangman. It's because the pegs in the toy aisle are full of Hangman action figures because nobody wants to buy them.
You son of a bitch!
Or maybe they just the fan reaction's good. Or maybe they
The
just
fan
produce
reaction.
more Hangman figures than Punk figures. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyways, he goes on.
Peg warmer. Unlike me, who moves merchandise and pops ratings and sells toys. You got everybody in AEW saying, I'm the heart, I'm the soul, I'm the spirit. Well, that's objective. What is a fact is the people who say that certainly aren't the chin of AEW because the lights go out faster than what? GTS, go to sleep. I don't know what I'm trying to do. I got rocked too. I told the House of Black no chops, and they chopped me, so I'm very mad. So I think this is what we.
All right, so then FTR Bald starts talking and da-da-da. So, like, what is he doing? Why does he have to keep going after them? Why does he have to keep talking about the Young Bucks and about Hangman Page when these guys are not cutting promos on him? They are not doing what he is doing. Apparently, he, according to Wrestling Observer, Punk apologized, had to send a text to Hangman apologizing for the promo, saying it was intended to be a joke, but it didn't work out. Where's the joke? Where's the joke when you say I move merchandise and you don't? Where's the joke? How is that funny? Where's the punchline? What's the premise? There's no joke there. If you have to apologize afterwards to a guy that you can't even be in the same locker room with, you shouldn't be talking about him. Shut the fuck up. What are you doing? He says he wants to keep the peace, but he does not. Stop me when I'm telling lies. If you really wanted to keep the peace, you would keep your mouth shut publicly. You wouldn't talk about these guys in a public forum. You'd keep it private. Whoop their ass if you have to. I don't give a fuck, but stop talking. Because right now, all it is talk, and there's not a lot of action. And it hurts AEW, and it quite frankly hurts my view of CM Punk. Because I go, come on, man, shut the fuck up. Why do you have to keep going there? He just can't give it up. It's so petty at this point. And then you hear the stories of how Ryan Nemeth got sent home from Collision tapings because CM Punk didn't want to be in the same building as him. Because Ryan Nemeth tweeted something when Punk said that you guys are as soft as the wrestlers you love or softer than the wrestler. What was the quote? You know.
Well, because Ryan Nemeth tweeted softest man alive or something.
Yeah, after Punk said that these guys, that the fans are softer than the wrestler, their favorite wrestlers or whatever. But
Right,
Ryan Nemeth has a point. Punk is always like, man, if you say anything about Punk, he blows up. But he is the first guy to talk shit about every single fucking person in wrestling constantly, publicly, to everybody in very harsh terms. Yet you can't say shit about him because, fragile fucking ego. Soft. S-A-W-F-T. Soft. Ask Enzo Amore. He knows. Soft. You're soft, you're sloppy. It's gotta be poppy. That was a good one.
I don't know how that turned the Connor right there, but it kind of did at the end a little bit.
Boop, 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 boop.
Little jig.
Yeah.
I don't know what we cover first. The whole like people being sent away or like
Well, how
Punk
about
talking.
him doing the promo, talking about Hangman, putting his name in his mouth in an AEW ring? Do you think it's a wise move at this point in the game when they have to be fucking separated? And apparently, Hangman was supposed to be at Collision at some point, and he got sent home.
Okay, but like a lot of these stories, like it was yes, this person was supposed to be there. Hangman wasn't supposed to be there. Like, so it's hard to say who is supposed to be there, who's not supposed to be there. So I don't know about that. Like Christopher Daniels, they said was supposed to be there, but it was kicked out. But like he was there for weeks. Like he wrestled on the Ring of Honor tapings, and they're saying Daniels got kicked out. Like it doesn't.
Was
some
Punk
of these things
there?
don't add up. Yeah, Punk was there.
Yeah,
for
he's
weeks.
been at every Collision, right? Yeah, makes sense.
So it doesn't. Some of these stories don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Ryan Nemeth thing, I could get that because of the tweet. I understand there was heat there. Fine.
Yeah.
But they said Hangman apparently like that taping wasn't supposed to be there, and it's smart too. They want to avoid a conflict, so don't
Sure.
have for that promo that he cut at the hospital, whatever. That need to be where they were filming Collision. No, so it made sense that that wasn't the plan at all.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know about these stories about that. Like, that's
What about the
questionable.
promo?
Now, Punk in the promo,
That
he saw
happened.
something.
The stories, whatever.
That
like,
happened.
the stories are stories. The stories are out there
Yeah.
in the wrestling media. Who knows? The Punk promo, we have video evidence. That's real.
We have video evidence. He said it. You know, like he saw a sign and he reacted. And obviously, that got a lot of people talking, and I can see where a lot of people would be upset about that. But I don't think he thought it was that bad. Again, when he talks, it comes out. And yeah, it probably came out worse than he thought it was going to be. Like again, he thought it was a joke, and it kind of went in the wrong direction there a bit. But you could also tell too, they're just killing time. Right, but they're just trying to kill time to help the ring crew set up the Ring of Honor taping, right? So, and the fact that people are trying to leave, so not everyone leaves all at the same time, because not everyone's going to stay for the Ring of Honor tapings. So they're getting people to stay and watch them just say whatever at that point.
Yeah, but they know that whatever they say is going to get out. People have phones, and they're
Right.
recording all the time. Just
Of
because
course.
you're off TV doesn't mean it's not going to get out there. That promo was
Oh no,
everywhere as soon as it happened.
of course. And again, like I don't think Punk was planning on doing that whole Page thing. It's just he saw the sign, he reacted to it, and Punk, obviously, like you said, he comes off a little harsh, and that's what happened. But again, I don't think he really thought it through. It just spur of the moment that happened, and an unfortunate backlash. But it's not the end of the world, too. What he said, it's not like, oh my god, like he completely destroyed Hangman with that promo. Like,
No,
there's been
But-
far worse things said.
sure. But I see Ted Cook in the chat who goes, "It's a work, Dave." Okay, if it was a work, there'd be a fucking match.
At All-In, yeah.
Okay? So he's not working towards anything. So he doesn't need to be talking about Hangman because he should be talking about whatever the fuck he's doing at All In, which, by the way, what? Samoa Joe, I think? Yeah. He's not talking about
Watch
Joe.
Collision, yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
fucking hype about him and Joe. People are talking about him and Hangman. If it was a work, there would be a fucking match on their biggest show ever. And there will be no
Right.
match. He'd be working Kenny or Hangman or one of these fucking guys at All In or All Out. And he will not be. He's trying to make the match. You think Punk, by saying things about these guys, is his way of getting him to do the match? What is this, his version of you have no balls? That's not how you make a match happen. You don't continue to piss off the guys that you've pissed off so much that they don't want to work with you. They already don't want to work with him, and then he's going to keep talking shit, and somehow that's going to fucking goad them into the match? That's what? The little boys don't want to give him what he wants. Fucking funny, man. I don't see it from that perspective. A lot of people fucking don't like the Young Bucks, and they're fucking CM Punk and FTR nut huggers. Johnny North is one of these people, okay? You are. You fucking are, and you know it. You're one of these. Jim Cornette, FTR, and CM Punk are cool. I'm an old-timey wrestling guy, and everything the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega do are fucking stupid. Fucking those guys are dumb, right?
Whoa, I just call it out. Like, you even said it yourself, that the Kenny promo wasn't good.
Of course not.
Like, I just call it the way it is.
I call it the way it is.
That.
You call it on the fucking side of CM Punk most of the time. I call it down the middle.
Well, I actually watched both
Just fucking
shows.
fight each other and stop being bitches. That's what I think you should do. Fucking settle it in the ring. Stop being a bitch. Everybody. Everybody involved. Stop being a bitch. Bunch of bitches. Fucking weak-ass pro wrestling. You never heard this shit back in 1991. Shit didn't happen. Motherfuckers fucking fought it out.
Can I mention something, though? Like, CM Punk is now past Kenny Omega's title reign record right now. He's the longest reigning AEW World Champion at this point.
Oh, fuck. He's not champion. They fucking stripped him of the belt. They crowned a new champion. MJF is the champion.
Well, if you haven't watched Collision, which you haven't, like, he still claims himself as the real world champion. And he's had title defenses. He had a title defense at least. And more than likely he'll defend that title against Samoa Joe. So that title, he's had longer than Kenny Omega had that title.
Means less than the FTW belt.
Which is getting retired.
Means less than the fucking Leatherface belt.
Oof.
At least Jeff Jarrett won that in a legitimate fashion. CM Punk has been stripped of the championship. He's not a champion. But him and MJF should wrestle at fucking All Out.
I agree.
To figure out, they should do that.
Undisputed champion, yeah.
Ladder match would be sick.
I mean, it makes sense at this point because we've already seen it one-on-one. So, yeah, a ladder match, yeah, why not?
We've seen them one-on-one. We've seen Dog Collar,
Yeah.
And, one's the champion. The other guy never lost the belt. That's got ladder match written all over it. That's how it worked with Shawn and Razor for the Intercontinental title back at WrestleMania 10. So.
That's right.
I think you should do that here. Ladder match in Chicago. MJF, CM Punk. Both belts on the line. Winner is the real champion of AEW. And I don't think you can give it to Punk. Especially just given... You send such a fucking bad message if you make him world champion, given what he is saying in public and how he's acting in public. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but the MJF right now, like, it's not great. Like, I'm not a big fan of MJF's title reign right now. Like, this stuff with him, if they want to do him, Adam Cole as a tag team, like, go ahead. But, like, as world champion, you don't look very good.
The match will be incredible.
Oh, yeah, the match would be incredible, but his feuds, though, like, they've taken a huge step down since Bryan Danielson. I think you'll admit that.
Well, of course I'll admit that. Everything is a step down from Bryan Danielson, John. I mean, you know this. You come on. Who are you talking to, man? Everything is a step down from Bryan Danielson. CM Punk is a massive step down from Bryan Danielson. All those years he called himself best in the world. He knew Daniel Bryan was really the best in the world. He's always known it, and that's why he's avoided him. That's why as soon as he won the belt, he's like, yeah, maybe I'll take on Bryan Danielson next, because he knew that he couldn't fucking lose in his first feud, and he needed to get a win over Danielson, so in the fans' eyes, he was the bigger star, because CM Punk is not fucking stupid. But let's make one thing clear. Danielson knows and Punk knows wrestling, promos, MMA, and jiu-jitsu. Bryan Danielson fucking mops the floor with Phil Brooks. Mops the floor with him. Obliterates him.
Well, again, promos, I mean, come on. Like, you're not being serious with yourself right there when you
I
said
am.
promos. But
I am.
and you're not being serious with yourself. You're being delusional now.
Punk is a better promo.
Come on.
Punk is a better promo.
There you go.
But, like, Brian is a better wrestler. And he's a more lovable character. Like, he's
Ted's
more
having fun
likable.
tonight.
Punk is not that likable. Like, he's a dick. How could you be best friends with Kofi Kingston and then turn your back on him? How could you do that to Kofi Kingston? What a dick.
Well, in real life, I don't think that's true. Like,
yeah, I think it is true. Like, he fucking left WWE and he stopped talking to everybody. Kofi included, I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, but that's a different kind of thing. That doesn't mean they're not friends, though. They can still talk to each other.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we don't know that, too. I mean, whatever. Like, whatever their personal thing is, that's up to them. But
this guy got kicked out of fucking backstage at WWE recently. They're like, get the fuck out of here. They wouldn't do that to Bryan Danielson.
He was trying to make peace. He's been trying to make peace for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, his peace is fake as fuck. You can't be on shaky ground with somebody and then go cut a promo about how they don't move merchandise. Like, how does he not recognize that that's maybe not going to help your relationship? You're trying to fucking bring everybody together, work the morale, maybe get a fucking dream match for the fans, and instead you just further piss this guy off. Why would you do that? Why would you cut a promo where you have to apologize afterwards? Hangman's not doing that. Kenny's not doing that. The Bucks aren't doing that. Only CM Punk is doing that. So everybody trying to say, well, these guys are kids, and no. Fucking Punk is the one acting like a child. He's the child.
It's kind of ridiculous. People are getting mad over these little things that are said. Like, it's wrestling. Come on.
Well, why does he have to keep saying them? Why does he keep saying them? The other guys...
He's just reacting.
I'll tell you why. Because CM Punk is getting people fucking banned from buildings for tweets that don't even mention him by name. This fucking fragile bitch is getting people fucking... Ryan Nemeth can't be around me. He said some mean things about me on Twitter. One time, didn't even say my name. And then CM Punk can go... The problem is, he talks shit about everybody, but cannot take it. He will dish it out, but he cannot take it. And that's the problem. If he weren't so fragile, it'd be whatever. But he's so fragile.
I mean, it's how you take it. To me, it's like, just man up. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like Punk wants. People just man up.
I think he should.
Some people would take it the other way.
He should. What are you talking about?
I feel like he is.
He's the one getting people kicked out of buildings. He can't be around Ryan Nemeth because of a tweet. And you're saying other people need to man up. This guy can't be around Ryan Nemeth because of a tweet. He's getting people kicked out of buildings. And other people, it's other people that are the problem, not him. I don't follow that logic. I don't know what you're saying.
Well, it depends how you look at it. Like, did he cause the problem at first, or did other people cause the problem, and then he fired back at people, and then it just caused a snowball effect?
But you're saying that everybody's fragile, whatever. He can't be around people? That sounds fragile to me. You're getting people kicked out of buildings.
On Dynamite? Like,
well, that's a whole different story.
Like,
well, they're not allowed to be on Collision. He's not allowed to be on Dynamite. I don't know how that fucking works. I don't know how that works. I mean, you know me. Ultimately, I think it's all Tony Khan's fault.
Well, this is what they wanted, right? Like, they wanted their separate shows, and well, you're gonna have separate shows. You're gonna have separate kind of locker rooms at times because certain people can't get along with each other. So,
well, I don't know how much CM Punk is gonna have as far as bargaining power with AEW if Collision keeps sucking in the ratings. I mean, that's his show. He's the man on that show. He's the star of the show. And if Dynamite is doing better in the ratings, like, I don't know, is he worth it? I think he is.
I think Dynamite's had a bit of a head start in terms of years, and like that's the flagship show. It should do better, but I think Collision for a Saturday night, I think it does pretty good. But wait until football starts, though. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Hasn't it started already? I didn't see. SmackDown wasn't on Fox tonight. There was football.
Oh, it's preseason started? The true season hasn't started yet, but we're getting that point soon, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fucking disaster. Coming up on
this
the
will just
biggest
keep
show
going.
ever.
It will be fine. It will have a lot of people. There'll be big matches.
Yeah. It'll be good, but they're having they are stumbling to the finish line. You know what I'm saying? As a company, it's a struggle. Dynamite this week was rough. The CM Punk stuff kind of taking over the news about AEW. Like, not many people this week are talking about the big show they have next week. They're talking about CM Punk causing controversy and now fucking Cash FTR getting arrested. That's how they're going into the week. That's what next week is looking like. Next week is their go-home week to the biggest show of all time for that company, and everybody's talking about the bullshit in AEW. Still. It's like a year later, isn't it? Because it was All Out last year where all this shit happened, right?
Right.
It's been a year of just this shit swirling and no match. No match. Nothing to settle it, just more bullshit.
The controversy is what get people interested, though. So, that's the unfortunate part. We're not getting any selling to this, but
it
the
gets
fact that people are talking about
interested in the news on the internet and in shows like ours and in other shows like that, sure. But as far as like translating to AEW TV, if they're not going to talk about it on AEW TV, I don't think it adds to that.
No, well, when Punk talks about it, people get offended about it, so it's kind of hard. When it's okay to talk about, then it's not okay to talk about,
No, John, you're missing the point, man. The point is, like, they're not talking about it on TV. They're not addressing it on TV. It's not a storyline.
He kind of says it, little things here and there.
Yeah, but they're not building towards anything.
That's the sad part. They should.
Yep. And they're not. And that's it. I'm done. I'll be back tomorrow night. I got another big night tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, UFC 292 watch along right here on the Ringside Report Network. John, your next match tomorrow, give us the info.
So, it's going to be me and Solo Min going for the NCW Tag Team titles. 120 Boulevard de Seminaire, St. Therese. Yep, bell time, 7:30.
There we go. Well, shout out to everybody tuning in here tonight. Shout out to the members over at join.ringsidereport.net. I'm seeing Ray Cruz, Leor. Who else checked in tonight from the membership team? Ray, Leor, Matthew Henley. I saw Matthew earlier in the chat. Try to give a shout out to all the members that were checking in here. I think those was all the members I saw. Matthew, Leor, Ray Cruz, my man Ray. Everybody watching How To with John Wilson. I'm glad I got people on board with that. And I will be back tomorrow night for the UFC 292 watch along, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll watch a pay-per-view with you, keep you up to date on what's happening inside the octagon right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.